Coming to you live from the Fortress of Solitude. The talks have begun. Got a few subjects I want to cover tonight. Not the normal stuff. A couple of questions for everybody, really. Little different things going on. This weekend, we got a full weekend of fights. We got White versus Franklin. Hey, close the door! We got White versus Franklin. We got Zach Parker versus John Ryder. Really like both of those cards. It's a shame that they're going head-to-head with each other. They're basically happening at the same time. They're both very good cards. What's goody? LDBC's Most Wanted. What's goody? Right Out of the Storm. Nate was good. Yeah, I mean, those are both very good cards. I like both those main events. Sandy Ryan is going to be fighting on the White versus Franklin card. I think she probably stands a good chance of knocking out Anaïs Sanchez. For those that don't know, Anaïs fought Maiva Hamadouche some years ago, and Maiva Hamadouche knocked her out. That was down there at super featherweight. Anaïs is now campaigning as a super lightweight. So, given Sandy's size and her punching power and her pedigree, I am more or less confident of a knockout. We also got the Marv Nation pay-per-view. I know a lot of people got mixed feelings about that, and I want to get people's thoughts on that. The price point, whether or not they're going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I am going to buy it. I really like the card. It's a good card. But I want to get people's thoughts on that, and we're going to get right into that shit, yo. You know what I mean? How much is the pay-per-view for Taylor? Yo, it's all right. Yo, that joint is $60, bro. That's why I wanted to get people's opinions on it. Are they going to buy it? Do they like the show? Do they think it's value for money? And what are they? Because that's pricey for a show like that. Like, because we watch a lot of boxing, we know that it's a good fight, if you watch a lot of boxing. But in a general sense, that's actually really pricey for a fight that doesn't really have a profile. Like, I love Chong. I love Regis Prograis. But those are not popular fighters. Unless you watch a lot of boxing, you're not even going to know who they are. So that's pricey, man. Que lo que, Coto? Que lo que, manín? Yeah, bro, that joint is $60, bro. That joint is $60, man. It's pricey for a pay-per-view like that. I agree with you, Decent. I believe it's worth it. But that's because we watch a lot of boxing. You see what I mean? That you would have to watch a lot of this sport to understand that, yeah, that's a great fight, and the co-main event is a great fight. I think Valle versus Bermudez, there's no way that's not an action fight. That's going to be an action fight for both the co-main and the main, and those are both going to be action fights. But you really have to wonder, like, yo, but $60 though. Like the way, especially with the way things are now, would you move up Ioka the pound for pound? Yes, I would. Absolutely. I would move Ioka up. And unfortunately, y'all know Terrence Crawford is one of my favorite fighters, but he about to lose ground. He's about to lose ground to Inoue. And if Ioka ends up beating Franco, Crawford may end up behind them or in the middle of them. He may end up in the middle of them, in between Inoue and Ioka, because the way the list is now, it's Canelo, Usyk, Crawford, or I think, matter of fact, let me look at that shit. I'll be forgetting what's on my own goddamn list. Let me look at that shit. Matt, didn't I post it up here? Didn't I post that shit up here? I did. There it is. The way it is now, yeah, you see how it is. You have Canelo at number 1, Usyk at number 2, and Crawford at number 3, and Inoue is right behind him. If Inoue beats Paul Butler, he ties Terrence Crawford for being an undisputed 3-division champion, and Inoue, unless I'm mistaken, he already beat 4 world champions just like Terrence Crawford. Paul Butler would be the 5th. So the argument would be there for Inoue to go to number 3, Crawford would drop down to number 4, and I got to do the tally on Ioka again, because unless I'm mistaken, Ioka is a 4-division champion, but he only beat 2 world champions, and the other 2 titles that he won were vacant. Appreciate you, Napoli. Appreciate that, bruh. But yeah, man. Shout out to my man Carlos who says 60 están locos. The zone already hit me up with 150, the yearly subscription. It's my last year. Bueno, vamos a decir esto. No sabemos lo que el año nuevo va a traer. No sabemos. Pelea más mejor en quién sabe. So I don't complain porque para mí, mira, 150 no es verdad. Eso no es 150. That's not a lot for me because if you pay for a pay-per-view, eso es 100 pesos. Con 150 tú tienes un año de boxeo, un año. Eso es Chocolatito con Estrada, eso es Katie Taylor con Amanda Serrano, eso es Canelo con Vivo, eso es Canelo con Golovkin. También no te la pierdas que Golovkin va a pelear el año que viene. También no te la pierdas que Canelo va a pelear en ese pay-per-view. Pero, sin embargo, it's like to me, eso no es mucho. Para mí, eso no es mucho para un año de boxeo. Jay, what can these promoters and fighters like Virgil Stanionis do to stop the corruption with these sanctioning bodies? Do they boycott the belts? Jesse, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. Virgil and Stanionis should not give their money to the WBA so that they can give them the runaround to protect Spence, because that's more or less what's going on. Here you have two fighters that are very young that they're supposed to be having title shots, and they can't because the WBA is so obviously doing favors to that fighter or for that fighter. The fact that Errol Spence Jr., by the time that this year is over, Errol will have only fought once in 2 years. He has 3 belts, and he's only fought once in 2 years. And you can look at that and see, well, that's the problem with 147. The guy with all the belts is the least active, or one of the least active. The guy don't fight, and he has 3 of the 4 belts. Crawford, who don't even have a promoter, he's down to fighting once a year for the last, I think, 3 years. He's been fighting once a year. But even that is more than Keith Thurman, more than Errol Spence, more than Danny Garcia. Don't forget, Errol didn't fight last year. Keith didn't fight last year. Danny didn't fight last year. Bud did, and he bought the fight again this year. So he's on a 1 fight a year schedule, and they're on like a once every 2 year schedule. You know, the shit is crazy, and the fact that he's as inactive as he is, and people talk him up the way they do, not just the boxing fans who really don't know any better, but also the boxing scribes, also the pundits that actually rate him above Usyk. Usyk fought last year. Errol didn't. Usyk fought this year. You see what I mean? It's like, what is the argument for Errol to be ranked ahead of Usyk? Usyk is a 2-division, undisputed, Ring Magazine champion. For what reason is a fighter as inactive as Errol ranked ahead of him? It doesn't make any sense. Que lo que, Johnny Blaze, que lo que, base, what it do, what it do, what it do. Stanionis shot himself in the foot for taking that step aside. Spence had no intentions of fighting him. You're absolutely right. They hit him with the okie doke, bro. They hit him with the okie doke. He's screwed because I don't think he's ever going to fight Errol Spence. The most he can hope to do is fight for the WBA title when it becomes vacant, and that's probably not going to happen till next year. Even worse, that he's under orders to fight Virgil, and in all likelihood, Virgil is going to beat him. So they really fucked him over. He don't get to get that championship money. Who would be the first 2-time undisputed champion? That already happened, bro. Evander Holyfield was a 2-time undisputed champion at cruiserweight and heavyweight. So that already happened. I think the question is, who would be the first 3-time undisputed champion? Virgil gonna beat the shit out of him, bro. But that's kind of like, that's the fun part for us, that we get that fight as consumers, but that's kind of the fucked up part of the business, that where this guy should have got a title shot already, y'all ordering him to fight somebody that's more dangerous than the last guy that he fought. So dangerous that he probably don't ever get to fight for that WBA title because Virgil gonna beat him. Oh, in the four belt era? I mean, I would say in the four belt era, that's Clarissa Shields for the girls. For the guys, there ain't one yet. There ain't one yet. You know, there's not a guy who went undisputed 2 times in the four belt era. But for the girls, it would be Clarissa Shields. Do you consider Kenshiro? Yes, yes, absolutely. Kenshiro is in the conversation. Let me pull up my pound for pound list again, because I'll be forgetting who's on that shit sometimes. But Kenshiro is definitely in that conversation. He absolutely is. All right, I do have Artur there. Yeah, because I the guys that are just outside the conversation is Kenshiro, MJ Akhmadaliev, Stephen Fulton, because those are all unified champions that beat more than one champion. What's the argument? Because his fans are sycophants. I thought the Pacquiao fans and the Loma fans were the worst. But no, these are ridiculous. I have to agree with you. At least those fighters, to some degree, deserved the hyperbole that's attached to them. At least some of them did. You know, like Pacquiao, he was an 8 division champion, or to some people a 7 division champion. But still, that's monumental. With Floyd, 5 division champion. You know, he beat a lot of guys that had belts. But with Errol, it's insane. It's like, fam, all you did was beat, Brooke, Porter, and Ugas, and people are going nuts over this guy. And it's like, fam, this dude don't even fight like that. So what are y'all high on? He really don't even fight like that. All year with these motherfuckers. Have you seen? Oh yeah, I heard about Zolani Tete. I heard he got popped for some PEDs back in July. Where is the outrage? Where are all the moral authority people that was mad at Conor Ben? Where are they? You know what I mean? When Conor Ben, when a matchroom fighter, I should say, when Eddie Hearn is involved, everybody want to be Mother Teresa. But Zolani Tete pops hot, a Frank Warren fighter, and nobody gives a shit. Because for the longest time, Zolani Tete was with Frank Warren. Zolani Tete! Those of y'all that have been following the channel will remember that chant. Zolani Tete! Wasn't Henry Armstrong and Ray Robinson? Yeah, they were. But he was talking about in the four belt era, this era where you got WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF. He was talking about the four belt era. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm hyped too, bro. Like, irrespective of whatever, I'm buying that fight. That is, to me, that's a great card. Even if the casual fan cannot appreciate it as much as I do, I'm buying that fucking fight. Like, on the co-main and the main, I love it. You know, so I'm buying that shit. Like, I don't think it helps their situation that the price point is $60 fucking. That's going to deter a lot of customers, to be honest with you. I myself expected the price point to be like, I don't know, 40, maybe like between 20 and 40. I didn't expect it to be $60. That's a lot, but you know, for a fight that doesn't really have a profile, but guess what I say. I was goody Toyin, was goody. West Side, Jerome. Eddie Hearn is held to a different standard because he's made himself approachable. Matchroom is playing by the book in a dirty sport. You're going to be at a disadvantage. I have to agree with you because automatically you see the difference. Another fighter that for the most part is a Frank Warren fighter. Another fighter that tests positive for a banned substance. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's grilling Frank Warren. Nobody cares. And that's what I was saying, that underneath it all, these fight fans and these boxing scribes, they don't give a shit about PEDs. Underneath it all, they figure what I figure. Most of these guys are on PEDs, if we gonna be real. The number of guys that get popped, that probably all of them is on PEDs, if we gonna be real. Y'all don't give a fuck about PEDs. Y'all just seen Eddie Hearn was involved, so y'all start talking shit. Y'all don't give a fuck about PEDs. Y'all fake as fuck. I'm hyped, but Chong camp issues make me nervous. Bueno, Chong dijo que él está bien. Chong dijo that he's okay. He's good to fight. The fight is still on, so que se va a hacer? Did you guys hear it will be 5 belts soon? The FYPM. Man, it better not. Yeah, they should put off like $25. Then even casuals might buy it because it's a great fight. I've been waiting for it for a long. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the ideal price point would have been under $40 because then it's no more expensive than a night at the movies, or even less expensive than going to Applebee's. You go to Applebee's, at minimum you're going to spend $50 to $60. If you could make the price point for this fight less than a night at Applebee's, it's more affordable to the consumer. Shout out to my man Willie Lynch. I appreciate you, Willie. You didn't have to do that, but you did it, and I appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Willie Lynch in the building. You know what I mean? No, I'm shit. Pero one arrest and a car accident and one can't. Yes, eso es mucha cosa. Esas son mucha cosa. I forgot that he got arrested. I forgot that he didn't get arrested, actually. Wasn't it that he hit a guy in the gym, but the guy didn't press charges? That's what I remember, that he didn't actually go to jail for that shit. Look, it's irrespective of what's going on in the camp, fighting Regis was never going to be easy, bro. That shit was never going to be easy. It was never going to be easy. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving is about to descend upon us. Thanksgiving to everybody. If y'all don't see me on Thanksgiving, if I'm eating food and shit, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. But yeah, man, it's a good card, but unfortunately, look, what's going on in America right now, networks, or at least two really, they don't want to spend money on boxing. That's more or less what's going on. Like, Fox is more or less out of the game, and Showtime's budget is shrinking. Now, Top Rank, they seem to be doing okay. They can do upwards of 1 million views with a show, which I think is pretty good. You know, you're talking about upwards of 1 million for Haney versus Kambosos, or upwards of 1 million for Stevenson versus Valdez, or Conceição. I think the Conceição numbers was close to 1 million. Those are good numbers for a couple of super featherweights and lightweights. Fucking beer. The beer is beering. What's goody, Drew? I got a question for you, Drew. I'm going to start it off because this is literally why I went live. This is literally why. You're as aware of the situation with the American boxing market as I am, as Michael is, and everybody in the chat. So if you had a time machine to travel back 4 years ago and you go to Showtime and you're trying to avert disaster, what would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have let Eddie Hearn and Golden Boy leave when they left. Remember, Eddie was first crack in the American market was with Showtime.
That's true.
I would have never let AJ go. I'd have threw the fucking truck. I would have backed up the truck for him and say, "Look, you can come fight in America for a year. We don't care if you're fighting cab drivers. We're just going to build you up and get that buzz going." Jules, they had it. They had access to. They had Golden Boy. They had both. They had access to both cash cows. They had access to AJ and Canelo.
Pay attention to that both those outfits that ended up migrating to DAZN and making things even more divided, they were actually on Showtime. Showtime had AJ fights. They just didn't have them under contract, but they was showing AJ fights, bro. They was. And they let the motherfucker go.
Didn't they have a Top Rank fighter when Lomachenko fought Gary Russell?
Not really. Wasn't that on the undercard of Maypac?
No. That was in 2014.
Oh, okay.
That preceded all this PBC shit.
Let me go to Virtuoso with the question. Virtuoso, you go back 4 years. You know what the numbers are. You know that the last 4 years, the numbers have basically been down, and they keep going down. So if you could go back and you could do something differently if you're at Showtime, what would you do differently?
I would probably put a stop to the exclusivity deals. with a particular promotional outlet and try to go more a la carte and try to employ the services of other fighters. You have a guy named Boots who is basically waiting in the wings for a Mando who should be actually fighting more actively, but instead, he can't get the dates because we just explained this. We've been over this.
Yeah, a million times. So what you would do is play it by ear and pay for fights, fight by fight.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go to Leo. Leo, you know the situation with the metrics. You know that the ratings are down. You know that at least in America, boxing isn't in a great place for certain platforms. So if you could go back and you go to Showtime and you do something differently, what would you do differently?
I would have said to those guys to kick PVC to the curb 4 years ago. No, but this is the thing. I think from TV networks have to be wary what kind of contracts they have the fighters with the promotional companies, because one of the major problems that had Showtime, they were working with PVC, and PVC has those weird, fucked up contracts. So all the talent, there's not gonna be enough good fighters, elite fighters, on your promotional company. There is not. Really, there isn't. So you're working on a promotional company that is mostly pouring on second to third degree talent. That's just not good.
Let me go to Jimmy. Jimmy, you go back 4 years. You have a time machine. You know that the ratings have basically been going down the last 4 years. The annual budget has also been shrinking as a result of those poor ratings. So if you could go back 4 to 5 years and you could do something differently at Showtime to avert disaster, what would you do and what would you change?
I think quality enforcement was something Showtime really lacked. I think they should have put more pressure on the partners they were working with to try and make fights like the fans cared about, like Benavidez Plant when they were undefeated champions. Try and make like a Thurman versus Spence when there was a lot of hype. When Andrade was offering to come over to Showtime to fight Charlo, a lot of fans wanted that unification, I just feel like quality control was one of their massive downfalls. It just wasn't not working with other promoters. It was the dude they were working with. They had no basic level of quality for him. He could do whatever he wanted.
That does say quality control is one of the things that most people cite as the issue. That it's like, fam, like there was fights that y'all could have made internally that didn't even require you to work with anyone, and y'all didn't even make those fights, like the fight he just brought up before Crawford versus Spence became a hot topic. It was literally about Thurman and Spence.
And it's funny you said, Jules, it's funny you say 4 years ago. If you go back and search PBC deal, Coppinger, 4 years ago is when they announced that new deal at Showtime for PBC too.
Bro.
And they said the annual budget's going to be between both Fox and Showtime is going to be upwards of 120 million. And look where it's at now.
Exactly. Now let me read these. Let me read the super chats. Mr. T says, salute to the UK goons. Put up pictures of fire sticks underneath you. Yeah, I seen them shits too. Shout out to Country. Country, I'm gonna save you a spot, bro. I got you. Edwin Castillo says, just tuned in. Saludos. Zerto is trash, and Bivol revealed Canelo was harder to beat. And we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. Now,
so real quick, I just want to ask: is PBC due for a re-up next year?
With Showtime, they are, but not with Fox.
No, Fox is done.
Fox is done, bro. Fox is done. Like they out of that shit.
They had enough. Yeah, of course.
And the other shit is that the re-up with Showtime, which I knew. Me and Druden talked about this shit a gajillion times. The budget for next year is probably going to be even smaller than the budget was for this year. You know what I mean? So that means less shows. Now let me go to Napoli. Napoli, you got a time machine. You go back in time 4 years. You go to Showtime, and you want to do something differently so that in 2022 the numbers are better. What do you do differently?
Simple. Fire Steven Espinosa and tell him to take Al Heyman and the PBC with him.
Nah, I mean that can't be the solution because this is what you.
That's how I feel, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, this is what you're working with. You have that stable of fighters. You have all those guys. You have that stable of fighters, and you have to try to work. You know, these are the parameters of the question. You have to try to work it out to where in 2022 things are not that bad. So what do you do differently?
I really don't know how to approach. It's like basically it's a numbers situation. So it's like you see the numbers going down. That's an emergency. So it's like I don't really know how to answer that, man. Sorry, bro.
All right. No. All right. If there's no solution, that means you don't see a solution. That's what that means.
I don't see it really. You know, right. I really don't.
Let me go to Villain. Villain, you go back in time 4 years. You know the question. What do you do differently?
Well, first off, I don't think it's very difficult to market a product that's desirable. Boxing has obviously been popular in the United States. Hand-to-hand combat is popular in the United States. You saw that UFC was basically very rarely covered by national media, but they've now found a way to become international, and here in the United States, they're extremely popular now. I think one of the main issues that boxing has done is they don't build up fighters anymore. Most guys, if you remember back when before Tyson fought, these guys were fighting 3-4 times a year. So you were creating a story. The problem is when you have a guy who's fighting one time a year, every 16 months, fans are gonna not be interested. So what I think they did wrong was too many fights on pay-per-view. They should have started trying to really grab the casual fan a lot more by building up fighters, by having them fight 2-3 times a year. Do as much as they possibly can to market it. If that means they have to do more print ad, if that means more media, whatever they can do to get the interest. I think unfortunately not just Showtime, but a lot of people have taken boxing fans for granted, and they keep raising prices. I think that the paywall hurts. I think not grooming the fighters nor the actual product itself is probably what's really killed it the most. So had they started grooming fighters more, showing more fights, building a story behind it, I think it would have done a lot better.
Let me go
that plane, bro. Let me
go to JBN. JBN, this 4 years ago. You have traveled in a mystical time machine to Stephen Espinosa's bedroom. You are imparting to him a message of hope.
Built by Jews.
What does he need to do differently to avert disaster?
First of all, why would I be doing in that weasel's bedroom?
Yeah, right.
It's a fucking time machine, bro. It's a fucking time machine, bro. You can go anywhere. You end up there. You have to impart to him like Obi-Wan Kenobi did, like Princess Leia when she called out the Obi-Wan Kenobi. You gotta tell him what he needs to do differently moving forward, so that to avert disaster. So what do you tell him?
Man, I'd just tell him stop ducking and cherry picking. That's the answer right there.
Can we have a commercial break, Jules? I want to ask you guys a question.
All right, commercial break.
Let's have a commercial break. All right. Now that Jules has brought up time machine and going into people's bedrooms, say you have a time machine, one by one, everyone. Whose bedroom would you like to enter with that time machine? Any
you don't get the fuck out of here with that question.
Brendan for the girl's sister.
Yo, Costa Valle.
Listen, bro.
What the
It's
fuck?
a family show.
It's a family show. It's fucking families. In all seriousness, Sawab, what would you tell Stefan to do differently 4 years ago to prevent the current situation?
Bro, so we're 4 years that we're going back in time. What could they have done? The main thing they could have done, bro, is let the Showtime put more
You know what I mean? Put their hands, like fist down, like, bro, Al Heyman, you son of a bitch. You're gonna let Anthony Joshua and the Wilder fight happen. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna let that happen. You're gonna let Benavides and fucking what's that clown's name? I got Colo Chingazos.
Caleb Plant.
Let that fight happen. Well, there's loads of fights that the thing you stop. Let Tang go to what's it called, DAZN. Let him fight. No, even on Sky, who was meant to fight? He got offered $7 million.
Tevin Farmer.
Tevin Farmer, bro. Let that fight happen. There's so many fights out there that could have happened.
Yeah, let me say something. Like, just hearing everybody's viewpoints and stuff like that, I just come to a conclusion. Honestly, Steven Espinoza is a bit of a pushover. He just lets Al Heyman do whatever the hell he wants.
I'm going to say this. No, let me say this. I'm glad you said that, because that's the conclusion that I have come to. That when
he's a pushover.
What Drew brought up, when they gave them that $80 million, it's almost like they let them spend it without any quality control. That, like, exactly. you can't pay Danny Garcia, for example, $1 million. That's the reported purse for the Red Catch fight. That's the reported purse for the Granados fight. If you pay a guy like that $1 million to fight that kind of opponent, he ain't never gonna want to fight nobody good.
Exactly. You spoiled him. Yeah, you spoiled him by paying for fighting opponents that aren't even threats.
If you think about Leo Santa Cruz, for the longest time, and featherweights traditionally, they don't really make big purses. Featherweights, they really do. 126-pound fighter, they don't usually make no sense.
Outside of Prince Nassim, but that's besides the point.
So when you paying Leo the kind of money you've been paying Leo to fight the Miguel Floreses of the world, he never going to want to fight nobody good. One of the main things that I see that I would go back and change is, look, you got a big budget. You know, you got a nice size budget from Showtime. You even got a nice size budget from Fox in 2019. But that's not the green light to be paying these stupid ass purse amounts to satisfy nobody's ego. What I see that they did wrong is you spoiled this entire crop of fighters by overpaying them. You hear a lot about DAZN when they debuted in America that, they was willing to overpay. Bro, PBC was doing that for years. And that's why these guys don't want to fight nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I just add this real quick, though? Look, another what-if scenario. If I was Les Moonves, I shouldn't have got a Me Too. Because that dude was a boxing guy. And that dude, he threw the gauntlet down when it came to Mayweather Pacquiao.
I just honestly, fellas, though, I think this was always going to happen because the way the content consumption is changing. All sports now need to be on sports platforms.
Yeah.
I think timing is a huge factor as well because I felt like Thurman Spence is happening now when it should have happened several years ago. The same with Benavides' plan, because that happened a couple of years ago. There was way more hype. He had world titles. It was just way more relevant and more fan demand.
And because
now,
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm glad that Jimmy brought that up, because if you go to the numbers that Errol Spence Jr. did for the Chris Algieri fight, right? That fight brought in about 6 million viewers at that time. That's before he even fought Brooke. That's before that, right? And if you would have did the Thurman fight, because you want to be in the biosphere where you don't work with Top Rank, right? Okay, well then you should have did the Thurman fight years ago then. You should have did it when it was hot. You should have did it in 2017, 2018, because Thurman wasn't out that long at that time. I think his last fight was, 2017, Danny Garcia, I think it was. That was either 2017 or 2016. And it's like the time to do Thurman versus Spence. Spence had just got the IBF from Kell Brook in 2017. The time to do the Thurman fight would have been either late 2017 or early 2018. And what did he do? He sat out till 2019.
Yeah.
When did fighters stop fighting each other? When PBC came in?
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was that? When did they come in again? 2014, right?
2015. 2015.
March 2015. It started on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Free boxing for all, everybody.
Oh my god, they were on NBC too. Oh my god, these guys suck.
Now, I want to say that this doomsday scenario that we're describing, it's not across the board. It's not. The UK boxing scene is thriving and it's vibrant. You have 3 separate platforms for boxing in the UK, and they do relatively well. Sky Sports does relatively well. DAZN, it does okay. They're still trying to break in, but it does okay. They still have Anthony Joshua. They still got a lot of fighters that you're familiar with, that if they have a fight, you're going to fucking watch it, all right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
BT has Tyson Fury and a couple of young guys. They're not great, but they got a couple of young guys. Whereas in America, Top Rank shows a lot of stability. But Showtime? Nah, son, they fucked, bro. They fucked.
You got Abner Mars.
Bro, that's how you know it's no quality control over there. Because how is Abner Mares? Wasn't he the co-main event?
Yeah.
For the last.
How do you have a dude that hasn't fought in close to 3 years as a co-main event?
And they brought him back out for Tank.
Bro.
You know, LB should tell fucking Espinoza, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You got $1 billion. You know what the fuck you're
out of a
doing.
job. He doesn't have a job anymore.
Does Ellerby know what he's doing?
No. He might not. If Tank not with them, then he don't have a job. Who else you gonna promote, bro?
Yeah.
Rolly Romero.
You're Rolly Romero and Spence going, man.
And like I was telling Jules, I told him a couple weeks ago, it sounds kind of cruel, but I want the American market to dry up. So there's a reset. There's a market reset on purses and everything. And American fighters will have to get a little desperate and have to go abroad more now.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I think that's going to happen whether they like it or not. It all depends on how the content performs. If the content is performing well, then you'll get a good budget, the coming year to do more shows and make more things happen. But the reason I limited the conversation to Showtime is because it's like, there's this illusion that they're the authority in boxing when no, they're not, bro. They're doing really bad, actually. Really fucking bad.
Bro, they're just like expired bread, bro. That's all. It's going getting moldy and moldy and moldy day by day. That's all it is. And soon you have to chuck that shit away.
Now, LB says, let me read the super chat. De lo mío que lo que, we shouldn't be complaining about the zone for $150 a year. That's $1,250 a month for the year. That's true. You know me, bro. I don't complain. To me, a year's worth of boxing for 100 or 150, that's good. Like that's
a
year,
steal.
bro.
That's good.
Jules,
steal right there.
I think Yellow Beezy's gonna get jealous about what Errol posted on his stories right now.
Bro.
Is he in Dubai?
No, he's showing a workout that you should have a woman be doing to you, not another man.
Let me read this shit. Jessica Sala says, Jay, who does Plant Benavidez winner fight next? Canelo, Morrell, Jamal? Does PBC feed Maul to Morrell to build him up for a Canelo versus Morrell clash? I'm going to say this. I would like to think that they would make the winner of that fight David Morrell. But if you think about it, they have 2 separate fighters in position to fight Canelo. They're not going to make them fight each other because you have 2 separate fighters in position to fight him. They're going to keep doing what which I think is stupid. Like, you cannot base the career of other fighters on one fighter. That's why none of them dudes is popular. You base Charlo career on Canelo. You base Benavidez career on Canelo. If you do that with David Morrell, he's not going to be popular either. You have to do what Top Rank does. You got to feed these
Jules, it's not just them. I mean, it's the prospects too. Look at what Ennis came out and said, about Crawford and Spence. Same shit, just different people, but same thing. Oh, well, we're waiting on such and such to fight. No,
you have to fight. And the other thing, what they, what I think they lost sight of. One, you cannot set the purses, bro. The value of every show is different. So it cannot be that, oh yeah, every time I fight, I get $1 million. No, motherfucker, because this one fight ain't worth what the other fight worth. So we gotta, manage that to where we can get you out there more than once a year, 2-3 times a year, and we don't have to break the bank to do it. But when the purses are set, you're fucked, bro. So that means every time he get out there, 2-3 million. Every time he get out there, 2-3 million.
Even to fight an Uber driver, I mean, come on.
3 million. 3 million.
Bro, I want to touch on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, bro, I was just going to touch on that. I feel like Showtime, the red flag was when Showtime started pumping its sports budget in Bellator. I mean, those guys are doing numbers that are similar to their boxing events, but charging way less money. So I feel like that was kind of like a doomed product from boxing. Like what you were saying about there's a minimum, like no matter who you fight, I could fight a bomb, but I still want 1.5 million. But you're doing Bellator shows that are taking half the money, but doing the same numbers. So it's like doomed to fail.
Exactly. Like, I think one of the biggest things that PBC did, and oftentimes you hear this brought up when it comes to DAZN, because we know that DAZN was throwing a lot of money at fights that were perhaps not worth that amount of money, like Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. They paid Mikey $7 million for that fight when that whole fight ain't worth $7 million, bro. That whole fight ain't worth that. But you gave that to Mikey. PBC was doing that before them. You giving these guys too much money. And now when they got to fight somebody that has a pulse, they don't want to. They don't want to fight nobody. Look at Thurman. $10 million for Crawford. $10 million for Ennis. Bro, ain't nobody trying to give you that. So you might as well retire.
How much did they pay Andy for Chris Arreola again?
Bro, I don't even know, but I know it wasn't a lot. It couldn't have been more. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm not sure, because I remember looking it up. I think they gave him $1 million.
I think it was more than that.
But even if let's say it was $1 million, that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. You fighting a journeyman like Chris Arreola should not result in you getting a 7-figure purse. No, that's crazy.
Andrew Ruiz got $1 million. Arreola got $300,000.
There you go. Do you now think about that? You gave him $1 million to fight Chris Arreola?
And also there were only 4,000 people in attendance for a guy who made $1 million.
That's what I'm saying, that when you look at these purses and you think about the show, ask yourself, what did Leo get for Miguel Flores? And do you think that show generated what Leo got? Because I think he got $1 million for that fight, or close to it. Bro.
Where's the business acumen, bro? Where does it go? Like, even the Top Rank now, given Fury, how much did they give Fury, bro? Almost 80 million, $100 million for those 5 shitty fights?
Bro.
Really?
I don't know what they were thinking with him. I really don't. I literally don't. I think maybe they felt that because he's unbeaten, they can try to duplicate the success that AJ was having at the time before he lost. I think they thought that they could duplicate it with Fury, but no, bro. People don't like Fury. And you seeing it now, like, bro, this Chisora shit, don't nobody care about that shit. Nobody care about that shit, bro.
There is a rumor going around about the Chisora fight, or the tickets that they sold, the 50K tickets that they sold. Well, most of them apparently are all on pre-sale on selling it again on the second market. Bro, who's gonna buy that shit? Good luck to you, bro. You lost money on that fight.
I told you, Jules, they weren't gonna sell that out.
Yo, they probably not. I just figured that the Brits will make a night of it. Like, they'll go, but they not really going for the fight. They might be going for the broads. They might be going for the beer. They not really going for the fight because it's just like some shit to do. The way it look now, them tickets is not moving, B. They not moving.
Yeah, but in the UK, there's a massive backlash across this fight. Thanks to Errol Spence and Tyson Fury, I've had to order a fucking Fire Stick as well last week.
Okay, can somebody explain, does the Fire Stick make it easier? Is that what's going on? I don't know. I just use
the way a Fire Stick works, like, I use a Fire Stick for my kids' room, right? My kids' room has a Fire Stick because they have a monitor that is not a smart TV. So what the Fire Stick allows you to do is to download your apps like your HBO Max, your Disney Plus, and you can use it on a monitor. But another thing it does, if it's jailbroken, is you can download apps that allow you to watch shit illegally. That's the other thing it does.
Okay, I gotta get that.
Yo,
what you do, you download a program called Kodi.
K-O-D-I.
Cody,
you need to get you need to get Errol Spence on. He's
Hey, even Errol Spence got one, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Even Errol Spence got a fire stick. So, hey.
Now, gentlemen, not that this is just a hypothetical here, but if you were, or if you know somebody or aware of anybody who would ever want to use a device like this, be aware that when you're using the internet, when you have an internet, you have basically a footprint in a map. So if you know somebody hypothetically using something like this, if you don't have a VPN, then there are people who can and will know that you are potentially, hypothetically, watching something that maybe you didn't pay for.
Hey, listen, brother. Right. Listen, bro. Yeah. That shit don't apply to me. I pay for shit. I'm buying.
I didn't say you. This is all hypothetical. This is just for anybody and everybody. Hypothetically, that's all it is. Just
I'm from the hot box era, so you know.
the virtue of a Fire Stick, and it's gonna eventually Fire Sticks will be obsolete because of smart TVs. Smart TVs, like my Roku, my big Roku in the room, all my apps is already on there. All my shit, my HBO Max, my Disney Plus, my Amazon, all my shit is already on there. But for my kids' room, I had to get a Fire Stick because none of the apps was on that shit. So it's just the monitor that they had, a decent sized monitor, but it's just the monitor. So I had to get it for them so I could put the Disney Plus on it and all the apps. That's really what that shit is for. But you can.
I have an Android TV. I got an Android TV just a couple of days ago, and you could get anything. You don't even need a Roku.
Well, I'm buying it at Fire Stick just so I can stream Al Heyman's fights.
First of all, we're hypothetically doing things on this channel.
I'm not hypothetically doing nothing. Fuck you, Al
Heyman. Allegedly.
Black Friday sale, bro.
It's Black Friday sale. You're right,
bro. I don't even need nothing, but I might do some shopping on Black Friday. But that's really what a Fire Stick is for. Traditionally, it's just that people finagled a way for you to download apps that bounce signals off of satellites to watch. Because this is
Julius.
Hold on. This is shit. You could watch a signal of the fight where, let's say, it's in Russia, and in Russia the fight is free. So a motherfucker in Russia will be bouncing that signal off, and that's what you watching. Like you might not be watching the regular shit, but you can still watch the fight. You see, that's how that shit is.
Hypothetical.
I was just gonna say, Julius, you do not know shit about Fire Sticks. Please bring on Errol Spence, the expert. He will tell us more about it.
Let me read the super chat. Will the Degenerate says, Al Heyman sounds like a megalomaniac. Well, I will quote this for you. I remember in 2020, Lou DiBella described what it was like working with Al, and in Lou's own words, he called him a control freak. So that kind of lets you know, like, well, based on everything you already heard, plus what Lou DiBella said, he's a fucking megalomaniac, bro. It was nuts.
Yeah,
you can clearly see, bro. This guy, I think he has hypnotized all these fighters and got them down in some contract, bro. You know, before they sit down and sign the paper, he gets one of them rings and does hypnosis on them, bro. Sign this paper, bro. Don't read it, just sign it, and they just sign their life away without them knowing. How dumb can these boxers be, bro? I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm glad Floyd Schofield exposed it. You know,
he's a good salesman. Al's a good salesman. He'll say the right thing to the right people at the right time, and then they'll go along with it, not knowing what they really signed up for.
That seems to be the story. Ziggy Zane says, if the sanctioning bodies, i.e. the WBC, the WBA, etc., wasn't biased and corrupt, the PBC ship would have sunk years ago, and that's true because you can see that they doing favors for them. Like the middleweight division, for example, should have been able to move on if WBC wasn't catering to Jermall Charlo, you know what I mean? Then maybe Yanni Beck would have that title to fight for, or Chris Eubank Jr., or Jaime Munguia. They would have that title to fight for. But the fact that Jermall still has it, the man hasn't fought in 500 days. He still has it.
And the funny thing is, though, the funny thing is like Crawford said, Al Haymon's charming. He convinced Bob Arum, Fox, and ESPN to give them fucking $50 million in guaranteed purses for the second Wilder Fury fight.
Yep. And they way overshot it. Overshot it.
Look, Leo Santa Cruz did not fight at 130 or was at 126, sorry, for over 3 years. Coming to 4 years, bro. He hasn't fought, and he's still holding on to that fucking belt.
He's still holding on to that WBA title. Yep.
And that's one of the other things. That's one of the other things that really hurts the sport, because when you have these champions that are basically holding belts hostage, the whole division ends up hurting for it. It's not just like it's just the guys in the WBA. No, the champions too, because they can't unify with nobody. If you try and unify with somebody, well, fucking Leo, he was up there at 130. Not that it matters, because if he was at 126, he wouldn't fight you anyway. He had his own stablemate, Gary Russell, PBC fighter. Did they make the fight? No.
No,
they didn't.
It was never like one of the things I've always maintained.
Gary Russell.
One of the things I've always maintained is that when they told Crawford that it was about sides of the street, that's bullshit. You have guys that are on the same side of the street, your side, that don't fight. Thurman and Spence, Gary and Leo, Jarrett Hurd and Jermell Charlo. There's plenty of fights that y'all didn't make internally between each other. Look at Frankie Sanchez. Who gonna fight him? Who?
Nobody.
Nobody.
You signed to them fully?
He with them, bro. He a PBC fighter.
He's an idiot.
Hey, Jules,
there is no Frankie Sanchez slander. No Frankie Sanchez slander on this channel.
When you talk about fighters holding titles hostages, man, I'd say that Wilder. Look how long he held that belt for.
About the IBF being sketchy, you know what I mean? Like, they're quick to strip Joe Cordina of his belt because of a legitimate reason, a hand injury. But you got Bakram Murtazaliev up at 154 pounds waiting for his title shot for 3 years.
And if you look at the schedules of the fighters, like if you go to their box rec and you look at their activity level between, say, let's just say 2018 and 2016, there's a glaring difference after that things have gotten progressively worse. Like even Wilder, who I'm not a big fan of, he was very active though. He was very active, you know, in a pocket. In a couple of years, he was having more than one fight a year. The way it is now, these guys are literally down to one fight a year or one fight every 2 years, because that's the schedule Danny's on, that's the schedule Thurman's on, and that's the schedule that Spence is on. All
the one and done.
All three of them didn't fight last year, bro. You talk about Crawford, them guys more inactive than Crawford.
And I love, Jules, you know what I love? How certain people on Twitter love to bring up, when we point this out, they love to bring out, well, how is DAZN doing? How's ESPN? I'm like, Eddie seems to be doing fine. They're giving him a budget for do more shows each year.
Drew, you have the floor to name the names.
I just that guy Warwick Radio must not get no pussy the way he fucking slurps Errol Spence. I just
damn.
Whoa. No, I'm being dead serious, fellas. I'm like, Jules, no, like, you can tell the guys that have a life outside boxing Twitter where they do stuff, they're busy, they got kids, families, whatever, based on the type of conversations you have with them.
I personally think that he's too close to the Errol Spence Jr. camp, and I've noticed that he's partial to I saw the conversation that you was having, Drew, and what I got from it is, bro, you talking about a Showtime issue. You're not talking about a boxing issue. You're talking about a Showtime issue, because that's not an issue for DAZN. That's not an issue for ESPN. The shit he said that there's going to be a scarcity of fight dates next year. And I'm like, bro, you talking about Showtime. Yeah, for Showtime, it's going to be a scarcity. Top ranks numbers is good. DAZN, whether you want to believe them or not, because you want some hate and shit, and it's obvious, but whether you want to believe it or not, they're only growing. They're only expanding. This year they expanded to Australia. This year.
Yeah.
Jules, the
And what
problem
does
is
that have to do? What is that? What are we talking about? Showtime. What is Eddie Hearn like? They love bringing up Eddie Hearn. The way fucking Fury brought up AJ today. I don't get the obsession.
Drew,
I mean, I do get the
got Eddie
obsession.
Hearn derangement syndrome. It's just like Trump derangement syndrome, but it's like
Eddie Hearn's gonna promote 2 Canelo fights next year and probably 2 to 3 AJ fights. How is that not winning for DAZN?
I don't listen. I don't know. When you have guys like, even if let me say this. Let's say that AJ is no longer the biggest draw in the UK, right? Not the biggest. Let's just say that. And I'm not even saying that, but hypothetically, right? You have a big draw. You have you have a couple of big draws in the UK, and you have the biggest draw in America. How is that not winning? How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Yeah, the two biggest economical events of this year were Joshua Usyk and Canelo Golovkin too,
And
as
then
far as live gates and pay-per-view numbers.
Next year, who's not looking forward to the motherfucking Lee Wood Mick Conlon rematch?
Listen, let me break it down. Let me break it down.
I'm looking forward to that.
Let me break this shit down. Let me break this shit down, because this is what I see. Not only do you have the biggest draw in women's boxing right now, you do Katie Taylor. It's Katie Taylor and nobody else. It's Katie motherfucking Taylor and nobody else. The GWO, right? You got Katie Taylor. You got the next one, the next face that everybody like, Alicia Baumgartner. You have her. You also have that Brazilian girl that beat the shit out that girl on the Montana Love card. So you got
Ferreira.
Ferreira. You got all type of talent. You got Jesse Bam Rodriguez, bro. That kid has a ceiling. You got not only the present, but the future. You know what I mean?
Anthony Bridges.
The problem is this: what your mistake trying to understand is because we're boxing fans. We get excited about boxing matches. The two problems are one, these guys don't follow female boxing. That's because they're PBC elitist. So PBC doesn't have women boxing. And number two,
they don't like women.
Right, and you're talking
they don't
about
like women.
And you're also talking about the fact that these guys don't also want to follow anybody outside the United States. So what you're saying doesn't resonate with them because they're not interested in anybody outside the United States, and they're not interested in watching women fight. So they're not fighting fans. They're a fan of a company.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
they should be.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
RCC, for example, we all know that Russia is quite literally, in the middle of an invasion. They are still staging boxing matches. I'm not playing with y'all. Motherfucking Linares was over there. Kurbanov got a fight coming up, right? So when you tell me that boxing is in trouble, no, boxing is not in trouble. The PBC is in trouble. Boxing is actually okay. In Australia, it's bigger than it's ever been. In Japan, it's bigger than it's ever been. In the UK, it's bigger than it's ever been. What the Saudi Arabia, all that oil money, all them sheiks, all them
sports washing,
all that sand and all them titties.
It makes you sit there and go, "What the?" It makes you sit there and go, "What the fuck is America's problem?"
You ever seen titties with sand on them? Titties with sand.
I gotta go to the beach next year. But Jules, it goes like this, man. American boxing is dysfunctional, man. Like really, really dysfunctional.
Total disarray. Oh yeah.
The networks are not paying or penny pinching on boxing because of what is it? Quality control. They're not putting on fights the fans want to see.
Agreed.
Yep.
It's like for that specific outfit, one of the glaring issues is quality control. But I feel that the quality control is a byproduct of the fact that you spoiled so many of these fighters for years that now they don't want to fight anybody. They'd rather sit out for a year without doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Can I just add?
That's the point I was going to make, though. That they,
sorry,
it's not that they didn't like. It's not that they didn't put on quality fights; they actually blocked them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will says
it's strange.
But go ahead.
Despite Bob Arum, let me say, despite Bob Arum, fucking up with, not letting the Bevo fight happen, the undisputed fight. Despite that, but Bob Arum at his dinosaur age, bro, understands that right now pay-per-view No one's gonna buy a pay-per-view for whatever reason.
Exactly.
Bro, he's putting Lomachenko and Devin Haney for free on ESPN, bro.
Talk about
And
it.
what the fuck is PBC doing?
But we
Fucking charging us for shitty fights.
But we supposed to pay for Davis versus Hector Garcia.
Jules, can I just ask you, how many pay-per-views have they got planned in January? Please
Listen,
name
bro.
them.
The way
4 or 5?
Sawab, it's got to be like 5 because you have Davis versus Garcia. You have Benavidez versus Plant. You have Thurman versus Spence. That's just going into February. That's already 3, not counting.
You you guys are laughing, but you know what? That Davis versus Garcia pay-per-view is supposed to fund his legal fees, so you guys better stop.
Shit. Yeah, like you literally off that, you literally have 3 to 4 because we know Ryan Garcia, if they make it to that fight. Personally, I'm starting to feel more and more like it's a bluff. Like y'all was celebrating prematurely because what if Hector beats Javante, bro? I'm not saying he will, but what if he does, bro?
What's gonna happen to the Dominican population if that happens?
It's a fucking platinum. I'll tell you what's going. A platinum is going to shoot out my dick and break this fucking computer.
The Dominicans are going to invade America.
Like we said, there's just a lot of jealousy because we just had Zurdo versus Bivol. Eddie found unfortunately, Canelo lost, found Bivol, and his profile's raising. And right now, they know that Eddie could be like, look, Errol, look, bud, I can only guarantee you guys 7.5 each, but the fight's got to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, because that's what if it were really an ideal world to where you could go to whoever has the money. Eddie has the money. He can get you the money. He can get you the money. He can get you the money, but it's not ideal. It has to be on Showtime. It has to be the PBC. So here we are. Here we are.
You definitely find it weird though, like comparing Showtime to DAZN. It's like I feel like DAZN is a global streaming service, which covers 100 different countries, several key markets, and the Showtime is just based in one market. So when people compare the two, like it's like DAZN is a completely different sort of entity to Showtime. Like the DAZN is more of a global sort of service compared to Showtime, which is just based in America.
Exactly. And here's another thing. Like there's a fighter that isn't a DAZN fighter, right? But she's going to be fighting on DAZN because of what you just said. Lee Baxter Promotions in Canada, right? They have a DAZN deal. They're not a big outfit, but these are the doors that open when you're dealing with a global streaming platform. While Lee Baxter Promotions may not mean shit to Americans, Taylor Robertson of Australia just signed to a Canadian promotional outfit. Now she is going to be boxing on DAZN. Whereas Showtime, what the fuck are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all like? What y'all got going on? The same shit y'all should have did years ago. Thurman versus Spence, that's late. Fucking Benavidez versus Plant, that's late. Y'all could have been did them fights. Y'all just now
them
doing
in the
that
back
shit?
burner, man. And now when they're really up against it, now when there really is time to make the fight is when they have a time when they're supposed to be up for re-signing a deal with Showtime. Like,
and fellas, this is just a boxing in America is just a microcosm of the country as a whole, compared to what's going on in other parts of the world where these countries are thriving, making innovations, and becoming more superpowers in terms of education, finance, technology.
I agree with that. The ultimate and people, this is going to go over. It's going to go over people's heads that where boxing is right now, believe it or not. In America, that's where America is right now on the planet. Literally, yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad. Everybody they finding like fam. He knew he don't need dollars. He got yen, bitch. You don't need dollars. He got yen, bruh. 20,000 Japanese will come out to see Inouye splatter Paul Butler, bro.
And they will all sit in their seats civilized and even root for the away fighter because they have class over there.
You know what I'm saying? Like whenever I would go on the internet, I would say 4 or 5 years ago when I was new to boxing groups and internet boxing shit or whatever, right? Because I was just a regular boxing fan. And I would see these guys and I'm like, yo, y'all act like it's not boxing fans in the UK. Even though I wasn't big on UK boxing yet, I knew They have their own boxing scene, bro. Steve Collins, Nigel Benn, motherfucking Eubank Sr. They had their own scene. They always did. And Americans act like, oh, if it's not American, it ain't no good. Bitch.
Joe Calzaghe, the best of the best over there.
That's the scene. That shit is not. It's just. I'm gonna say it. It's bigger now than it ever was before. I'm gonna tell you what. Before, Americans was not sitting around on a Saturday afternoon watching no Dalton Smith. But now they are. Why? Because it's bigger than it was before. It is bigger.
And God forbid the country that invented boxing would thrive and it'd be popular over there. You know, that doesn't make sense to me.
I talk about American xenophobia all the time. They're like, yo, these motherfuckers hate everything. Motherfuckers hate they self. That's how much hate they got in their heart. Like, fam, it's okay. Yes, they box in England.
And they're too arrogant for their own good. That's the problem with a lot of Americans. It's the arrogance, man. Like, it's just too much for their own good.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They have boxing. For example, I know that Paul Gallen is never going to win a world title, right? I understand that. That don't mean that fight that he had with that dude wasn't a good ass. It was a good ass fight. The fight that he had with I don't know who the fuck that dude is. I think they're both rugby players. That was still a good ass fight, bro. They was going at it. A fight is a fight, you bitch. It's a fucking fight. It ain't got to be a title on the line. It's still a fight. You know what I'm saying? I done seen a couple of Australian fights. I was like, yo, they really be getting it in down there, B. They be scrapping down there, B. It don't be the prettiest shit, but they be scrapping down there, B. And Americans, oh, he's not pound for pound. He's not bitch ass shit. You don't get that bitch ass shit out of here, man.
Hey, Jules, I don't want to change the subject, but did you see on the undercard for Terrence Crawford that
I saw? I knew. Shout out to Rick. Rick let me know weeks ago. I don't know why I didn't leak it that she was gonna be on his she was gonna be on his undercard. I think it was Rick. I'm getting old.
Is the whole undercard out?
Not the whole undercard, but I did know that Cyborg was going to be on it because I believe that they contacted Rick for one of his girls. I believe it was Rick that told me that they contacted him for one, and that Chris Cyborg was going to be on the undercard. And they great, you know, because I was wondering what the fuck is going to be on the undercard, man. Who's fighting on that shit?
I was going to say they got Broner. Yeah, Broner's about to come out of nowhere.
Not paying for that pay-per-view,
bro.
Say it again.
Broner's not coming back till February.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that that stablemate of Crawford, Steve Nelson, he used to have that trinket title. He was off for a little while because he had a major foot issue. He's gonna be fighting on that undercard too. He was on ESPN a few times. He fought for Top Rank.
I remember the guy.
Yeah, I remember the super middle.
Funny dude, man.
Yep, he's gonna fight on the undercard too.
Yeah.
Now that we have changed the subject.
Hold on, wait. I gotta read the super chat. War a Week thinks he's slick enough to sell Raid to a bug. Unfortunately, he's too slow to the realization that the fans are now as smart as the promoters. I agree. You know his arguments can be summed up in one sentence. I'm an insider. Bro,
and the thing is, just the overall consumer just has more options and is more intelligent with their dollars on what they want to pay for content, what content they want to pay for.
More importantly, when he tries to make the case for a lot of stuff, you know what you're not understanding? Let's say you're as deep on the inside as you claim you are, right? I still have more say-so than you do. Why? It's my money you want. It's my money. You don't have shit I want, but it's my money you want. So when I say that some shit sucks, some shit sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm sorry if you feel that Tom Brown is this great genius fucking matchmaker. I'm sorry, he hasn't put out shit. I can't think of a fight under his fucking promotional banner that you could say is Fight of the Year worthy or is even memorable. Like War Week Radio, just because you sound like fucking Steve Kim does not mean you're a fucking insider. Get that through your head.
The attitude that he has when you talk to him, it's like, fam, you can't be a good business guy. Why? You think that you know more about what I want than I do. Motherfucker, I don't buy the majority of the shit you be talking about, bro. Because it
And on top,
sucks.
and on top of
Yeah.
that, like he
Trash.
says he's an insider. Jules, how many times am I having dinner with insiders once a month, chopping it up with managers, trainers, reporters, network guys? Once a month, we.
I told him earlier, you know, because the way things are now, believe it or not, it's a lot of quote unquote insiders, the way things are now. But it's all besides the point because the consumer sets the value of the fight. The market sets the value of the fight. And just because you cool with Ronnie Shields and bro, that shit don't mean nothing, bro. All I'm telling you is the market sets the value of fights. Period.
Yep.
Just because you cool with a couple of guys, that don't mean shit to me, bro. You be cool with Ronnie and his whole stable. At the end of the day, fights like Ruiz versus Areola should not be paper.
Yeah,
bro, that guy's so annoying though, because I got into a debate with him, right? So, and what we left was Bud Crawford is the bad guy because he brought $50 million to the table, and he's also the bad guy because he accepted $0. I was like, come on, bro, you can't be that biased. You have to have a little open-mindedness, man. You can't be that pro PBC.
Well, you know what the thing is too, and he is very pro PBC. What doesn't get said, or what isn't being said in the argument today, is that the expectation was set by the PBC. Y'all the ones that said Spence is a star. Y'all the ones that said Crawford ain't shit and Spence is a star. That's what y'all said. That he's a superstar. So why can't get some superstar money then, motherfucker? If he's a superstar, I got 6 for Sean Porter. Y'all can't give me nothing for Spence. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
How does that sound, bro? What businesses does that? You telling me I could fight Sean Porter? I could fight Sean Porter. I'm gonna get 6 M's. If I fight Spence, y'all won't give me nothing. Nothing.
It's shifty.
Well, it's not even that it's just shicey. You just have to think logically. Why would anybody? I don't even care. I don't care if the guy was fighting for 7 titles. Why are you going to get in the middle of a ring and put your life on the line to literally walk out and make $0?
Exactly.
Tell me what any human being would make that decision in their job.
Bro,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Look what happened to Kovalev. Look, Kovalev signed the deal.
I was just thinking about that.
Kovalev signed the deal just like that. And
how can Kathy let him do that?
Bro, I don't even know why she let him do that, bro. To be real with you.
Probably they were both drunk when they signed the contract.
That had to have been. Because I'm like, yo, the dude got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped. He got punched right in his dick. And you ain't make no money? Wow.
200,000, bro.
I mean, we laugh about it, but if you really think about it, everybody assuming here has a job. Can you imagine getting up and going to work for a week or for a month, and then at the end of the day, you literally have $0? I mean, the emotional like anger you're gonna have over that shit, all that.
Listen, his stance. Look. Let me say this. A week ago, he took a stance on the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis thing, right? You know, the promotional issue. And the stance that he took is basically that, DAZN just has to concede the Showtime because they're the superior superior in what way, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? The majority of subscribers that Showtime has do not watch boxing. What are you talking about?
They're more Dexter fans than boxing fans. You know what I'm saying?
Less than 1% of literally less than 1% of Showtime's overall subscriber base watches boxing, whereas the majority of DAZN's subscriber base watches what?
Boxing.
It's fucking rocket science, bro.
Okay, let's clarify something. It wasn't like Crawford wasn't have the possibility to win any money. It was to get a percentage of the net revenue of that pay-per-view in particular, right? Okay, I work for a company. If the company says to me, okay, we're gonna pay you a percentage, but we have to balance the book at the end of the month. If you got profit, you get a percentage of that.
Yeah.
If those guys don't let me check the books, if those guys don't let me look the expenses of what they made with the money, I'm not taking no fucking deal. Are you crazy?
Of course not, because how do you know that 35% is 35% if you don't get to look at the books?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
If you don't get to look at the books, you know something's up.
And I think, look, this is the other thing, which is why I'm like, yo, I don't like arguing with this dude, because real world common sense, bro, just real world common sense. Oh, because Al Heyman is just this fair guy. He's just so fucking fair, right? All he wants to do is get the guy. No, bro. Errol is his fighter. Errol is his fighter. So naturally, he's going to protect his investment. Don't fucking argue with me. You know that's the way this works. Don't fucking argue with me. You know damn good and well, if he does not see value in a Crawford fight, you know what he's going to do with that fight? The same fucking thing he did with Leo Santa Cruz versus Rigo. It's the same shit. You don't see no value in the fight, so no, fuck that fight. We rather feed you to Canelo. We rather feed you to Canelo. Didn't they offer him to Canelo? Yes.
Genius matchmaking by Tom Brown, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah.
like motherfucker really want to act like Al Heyman is the fairy godmother of boxing and shit. That no, he would never tell a lie. Never.
No, he's a fucking man behind the curtain. He's a fucking shady character.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he is just another boxing guy. Get the fuck off his dick, because he is just another boxing guy. All right. The only thing I know is this is what I know, right? Because he don't like that I like the DAZN as a product. Like, and I'm giving a product review. And when I say, look, I got Mick Conlon versus Lee Wood, Fight of the Year candidate, Knockout of the Year candidate. I got Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. I got Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus Golovkin. I got Usyk versus Joshua, no pay-per-view. I'm getting Chocolatito versus Estrada 3. I'm getting White versus Franklin this weekend. And all the little shit sprinkled in between. And you telling me Showtime is fucking with that? What the fuck did Showtime do this whole year? What?
Yeah.
What's the best fight they did this whole year?
This Charlo Castano.
Charlo Castano too. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like you cannot compare the catalog of fights annual. Like this year is a prime example. You got a lot of really great fights on the DAZN, no additional charge, right? Let's take Charlo versus let's do it this way. I'm gonna handicap the DAZN. I'm gonna take one fight away, right? I'm gonna take just one fight away. Let's say it's Canelo versus Bivol. I'm gonna take that away. It doesn't count. And I'm going to do the same thing for Showtime. I'm going to take away Charlo versus Castano, right? Take that out. Who had the better catalog? It's not even a fucking question. It's not even a fucking question.
And let's not even bring up ESPN, because they charge much less cheaper for ESPN Plus, and they don't even put their fights on pay-per-view.
Bro, Bob Arum is trying to give us Lomachenko versus Haney not on pay-per-view, bro.
Theo Bob.
Let that shit sink in. These motherfuckers want to charge me and you for Davis versus Hector Gersha, but Bob trying to give us Haney versus Loma for the free? Nah.
All the stereotypes we hear about Jews. This one doesn't want to fleece you. Wow!
Bro, don't get me in no trouble, bro.
I'm sorry. I do not condone what Kyrie ever said. By the way, all the views expressed are not the views of Ring IQ Boxing.
I'm just saying, and I'm like, yo, he already did this. That's the worst part. In 2020, we got a fight that they were building up over, I'd say, maybe a year and a half. The Lopez versus Lomachenko fight, and we didn't have to pay pay-per-view for that. But who was charging us pay-per-view? Who charged us pay-per-view for Charlo versus the banana?
If Lomachenko versus Lopez was on Showtime, what was going to happen? Pay-per-view. If they had Lomachenko versus Devin Haney, what was it going to be? Pay-per-view. $100, bro. Not even $80. $100.
Yo, by that time, off them two fights, you looking at $160, bro. Off them two fights, about 160, round there, bro. That's more than a DAZN subscription.
I agree, Edward. Jake Paul is the top guy at 'Showtime.
Yo, he really is, because he brought him more pay-per-views than anybody else this year. Shit.
What,
Bro,
300
when they
what?
put the Resource Keys versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view, I was shocked, bro. I was like, wow, this is a new low, bro.
That's
Bro,
that's
how
On
was
New
there
Year's Day,
40?
bro, on
Let
National
me just say,
Hangover Day, when everybody's
bro,
watching
let me
Thomas
just
Cook
say
go
this.
mad drunk.
How was there
Yeah.
40,000 people who bought those pay-per-views, bro? How are there 60,000 people buying those fucking pay-per-views? Who the fuck paid 77? Who was those 77K people who bought
casuals, man.
Wilder
Casual.
pay-per-view?
The
I
casual.
mean, you know what this shit is? Look, I'm gonna say this. There's also, I know that there's guys like me that they're like, oh, it's only $60. I have jeans that cost more than that. I'll buy it. Why not? You know, like what my logic for this weekend's fight with Zepeda and Prograis. It's like, no, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And there's people like that, right? There are people like that yeah, they got disposable income. Now, you know, it don't hurt. It don't hurt. But overall, it's frivolous, bro, because your competitors are putting on better fights than you are. No pay-per-view. No pay-per-view.
Jules, it's not even about the money. It's about the quality of the fight, bro. It's not, all right, you got jeans more, so I got money, bro. It's not like I'm going to go spend a bottle of water. I'm not going to spend £100 on a bottle of water, bro. Am I? Bro, that's what it's equivalent to. That $80 should give you something like, okay, it was worth me having it. Bro, it would just feel like I feel mugged if I paid for that shit. I feel sorry for the Americans, bro, who's paying for those.
Bro, but who even knows if that's the real number? Because it's, for me, right? It's hard to imagine. I think they said Ruiz versus Ortiz did 64,000. And I'm like, 64,000 people bought that? I could see 20, 30.
Yes. Maybe those
64,000? Right. That's what they
That was $75.
Yeah. Well, yo, anyway, guys, I'm gonna take off. I gotta get up in the morning bright and early for work. So yeah, so y'all be easy, y'all.
All right.
Okay, man. Have a good changing topics. Let's change. Fuck the PVC, bro. Fuck your Showtime. Let's change some topic, please. I want to talk about.
I want to talk about Fury and Chisora. I want to talk about that.
Please, let's just talk about the apparently what's going to happen with that Joshua is going to face the winner of White versus Franklin. I think the guy's name.
But bro, look, I'm gonna be real. I don't want. You could do the Dillian White rematch, but not next, bro.
Yes, bro. I 100%. Bro, I don't want that shit next. The UK don't want that shit next. We want to see Anthony Joshua in a fight with a fighter that he hasn't fought with before, bro.
It could be Zhilei Zhang. It could be Zhilei Zhang. It could be Otto Wallin. But don't do the Dillian, because if you know what it means if you do the Dillian White thing, it means you scared. You trying to fight a dude that you'd have knocked out already. Like it's obvious. Do not.
Is there a happy medium where you can get your guys' confidence back, Jules, but not put him in too much danger?
I believe so. So.
It's still a risky fight, bro. It's not even about.
No, I know what I'm saying, but like Jules has been saying, you don't want to put in AJ in there with a complete bum, but you don't want to put him in there with a killer. It's like find someone decent.
Okay. So look, this is what's going on, because this is the other thing. There's moments where you got to show some fuck it, right? This is one of those moments that you got to show a little bit of fuck it. Like, man, listen, bitch. This is what we doing, and this was going on. Trevor Bryan, bro. I'm like, look, man, I'm fighting Trevor Bryan at the O2 Arena, bitch, and you could come or you could not come.
But people are gonna go. People are gonna go. It's AJ. That's besides the point. What is Eddie Hearn's psyche like? Why is he so focused on this fight, specifically on this fight? Why?
I'm gonna tell you what. I think AJ is being difficult, bro. Being real with you. I do think he's being difficult, because when I think about it, I'm like, look, man, if AJ want Wallin, then what we get is Wallin. If AJ want Zhang, then we get Zhang if he wanted. But if we keep hearing this White shit, I'm like, look, I don't even mind a Dillian White rematch, but let him win and then let you win, and then we get that in the summer. That
fight is bigger.
Yeah, and
that's a stadium fight. That's a
They should
stadium
take the
fight,
Zhang
bro.
fight to China as well. They should take the Zhang fight to China as well. That'd be a big event over there.
No, no. Look, for a rebound fight, remember, we talking about a rebound fight, right? So I'm like, look, don't let AJ rebound fight be your breakout fight in China. That's too much shit. You know, it's too much shit. You bring my man back to London. O2 Arena, Otto Wallin. Wow, listen, Otto Wallin is not all that. I think mad at his fights. He not all that. That shit with Fury was a fluke, bro. That was a fluke. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater, but I've seen him, bro. I'm like, nah, this dude is regular. AJ, you knock him out, bro. You knock him out. Get Wallin. Hell, Zhang is better than Wallin.
Yeah, because like Fury cannot keep AJ's name out his mouth. You might as well make that fight to like put forth the narrative that I featured one of your fucking like leftovers, right? Better than you did.
That's the angle that I'm coming at it from. That if you watch that Fury fight back, bro, anybody else with that same cut that you had, that fight gets stopped, bro. That's not cap. That's not me being a hater. That's real. That cut that Fury had, that shit was ugly, bro. And if you wasn't Tyson Fury, that fight gets stopped on cuts. It gets stopped on cuts. They let you keep fighting because you're Tyson Fury. I'm going to show you how to deal with Otto Wallin, bro. And if it's me, I'm going to talk shit at like Fury. I hope you watching because you keep talking about me. I'm going to show you how to deal with this dude. I got you, bro. I'm about to teach you how to do this, son. And that'll be the angle. I'm going to show you how you deal with an Otto Wallin, bro, because the shit you did, you went life or death with him. I'm about to smoke him. I'm
just not thrilled about him fighting AJ. Fighting Dillian White again. I mean, if they were to fight, man, all AJ would have to do is look at his tape, at his wrist tape, and see the words thrown uppercut, and that's it.
That's it, bro. Like, if you revisit a White fight, that communicates weakness. That you trying to go back to a dude that you done. Like, nah, don't do it like that, bro. That can't be your next fight. Let your next fight be Otto. Because Otto never even been stopped. He never been knocked out. He only has one loss.
Yep.
But we'll see, bro. They haven't decided who he gonna fight yet.
Bro, I hope it doesn't happen because I don't want to see that shit next, bro. Honestly, there's just.
I just see it as like a tune-up, I guess. Like a big sort of glorified tune-up. I get why they're doing it because it'd probably sell out a stadium here and do really good.
Is that, bro?
For me, I just see it as a tune-up type of fight. White Joshua. Be a good way to rebound. Get a highlight knockout.
There's too many guys out there that he can fight. Like, shit, for that fight of Geek Caballero, you could probably knock him out. You know what I mean? It's up. Like, don't fight White. That's my thing. Do not fight Dillian White. You ain't got to fight a killer because look at what Fury's doing. The fact that he has the audacity to fight Derek Chisora again, if that's me, that opens up a whole world of, like, bro, if y'all going to let him fight this dude for a third time, I'm about to fight fucking Traffic, bro. Fuck that. Fuck, I look like fighting a killer and he fighting Derek Chisora again. You beat him 2 times.
I hope that fight doesn't happen. I don't care. Come, bro. I'll dig out my dead man. I'll put it in the ring with you, bro. Fight her instead. I don't want to see that other one, bro.
I don't want to see that. Like not right away. If he has a rebound fight and Dillian wins, and who knows if he even gonna win. I gotta look at Jermaine Franklin again. I seen him, and all I remember is what I felt. That I was like, bro, this dude never gonna win a title. That's what I felt when I the couple of fights of him that I watched. I gotta give him a closer look. Like, all right, does Dillian have something to be worried about? But I just remember every time I watched him, I was like, bro, this dude is not gonna win no title from no one. No one.
It's obviously a rebound fight for Dillian White because these levels are below what he normally fights.
But he is an unbeaten fighter. And
not all undefeated records are created equal.
That's true too.
What do you guys think about Joshua Hrgovic though? Because in the IFL interview, Joshua was saying that could have been one of the guys he's looking at, Hrgovic, as a comeback.
IBF rated.
I don't mind. I'll happily see that.
Get back in the title picture, bro.
I don't mind that because I think Hergovic is with Ronnie Shields, and whenever a fighter end up with Ronnie Shields, what happens?
They look like shit, man.
Like fucking shit,
They
bro.
look like shit.
So
I mean, listen, we also gotta address, Age's indecisiveness in terms of who's his trainer is.
that too,
Yeah.
man. That's
I
bad.
don't know what's going on with this guy, bro.
Bro, this just shows, bro, even like I'm not even talking about myself, like AJ fans and the difference between like proper I think boxing fans and fucking aerosexuals and the LDBCs and them motherfuckers. We put these people like I'm pissed off. If I see AJ, I'm gonna tell him, bro, do not fight Dillian White again. I beg you. For yourself, bro. Don't do it. You're gonna fuck up your career. Honestly.
Let me read the super chat. Aaron S. Baker says, Eddie Hearn said Joshua versus Fury had zero guarantee. PBC knew Crawford wasn't going to fight without a high guarantee. The PBC was playing games because they still wanted to give him just a percentage. And I'm going to say this about that, right? Because this is the bottom line. Every fighter that Errol fought got a guarantee. You could say that it was only 2. You could say that it was only 3. You could say that it was only 4. They got a guarantee. And to my knowledge, most of the big fights happen with a guarantee. Like when Canelo fought Plant, $50 million guarantee. And where was that? Showtime, right? Yeah. So the rules, you can't change the rules. Y'all been telling me that I ain't shit. Y'all been telling me that I don't sell. So that when I'm supposed to get in here with your golden child, your motherfucking golden goose, y'all telling me I can't get no money up front? I can't get nothing? Nah, man. Nah.
Also, with Joshua Fury, wasn't there like a site fee of $150 million?
Exactly.
So I think because of that on the table, maybe the guarantee wasn't so relevant. You got $150 million to split up. You're not worried about, percentages.
Whenever it comes to a Joshua fight, it's not a normal situation because of the vast sums of money that people are willing to put up. Like, look at the fucking Ruiz rematch. That was ridiculous, bro. That was ridiculous, bro. That amount of money for that that's crazy,
The
fam.
highest paid, bro. At the time, he was the highest paid challenger, bro.
They have no belt.
$60 million? No belt, bro. He got paid $50 million.
Like it's like underneath it all, this is what I hate about boxing, right? Motherfuckers act like they don't have no memory, fam. Literally every fighter that Spence fought got a guarantee. Every fighter. People not looking at the shit. You guaranteeing this man 35% with no guarantee. Like, fam, if there's no guarantee, can I at least get 40? This is an awful fucking deal, man. I'm telling.
Can I ask? Is Keith Thurman getting a guarantee?
I bet you he
I
is.
think so.
Bro, he's been asking for $10 million.
$10 million.
No, but see, this is what I'm saying. Okay, so you got a deal structure, right? Where there's no guaranteed money, and what you offering, it's not 50, right? Not 50%, right? Fuck that, right? No 50, not fucking 45, not 40, 35% of a deal with no guarantee. Fam, you not trying to fight,
you
bro.
have no idea how much he's gonna make before the fight even starts.
For real, like how you
can't see the books either, bro.
How you try to fight and you giving me 35% with no? Oh my God! Shout out to Ursula Neal and appreciate that. You ain't had to do that, but you did that. Salute Jay from Tim Love the channel, just showing some. Yo, thank you, appreciate it. Shit, I appreciate that. But it's like I looked at the deal. I'm like, yo, they take all the context out of everything that's happened the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, you belittled Terrence Crawford. You said he's not a draw. You said that Errol is a star. There were even people saying that Errol had surpassed Canelo in terms of marquee value. So that when you come to the table for a Spence fight, no guarantee in 35%. Nah.
What I'm trying to understand, Jules, is how can these fucking What I'm trying to understand, how could these motherfuckers be talking at their booty hole about Crawford being a bad businessman when he got 10 million, supposedly is getting $10 million to fight Avanesian? Okay, you understand that this guy is asking for too much money. Okay, then why are you not accepting the $50 million that his investor who I think might be running with the same people that Tyson Fury thanked for the AJ fight. You know,
Virtuoso. Listen to this. Yeah, he's a bad businessman, but he's bringing in $50 million and 25. Errol Spence, he dumb shit.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. So I'm gonna be devil's advocate, right? Because this is what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of people who question where the 50 million, because it was 25 to each fighter. 25. Yes. And all I'm saying is, if a motherfucker tell me that, look, I might not trust the motherfucker, but I'm gonna check. Because if this shit is real, if this shit is real, we are doing this shit. Yeah. And what Al said, I'm not letting this in Bud's own words, because that's what he said, and I don't know more than Bud. Bud said that Al told him, yo, I'm not letting nobody get their hands on this fight. You telling me that $50 million potentially is not enough for you to at least check? Nah, son.
He just did not want to meet with his advisor, and this advisor is gonna make fans flip. Like, it's turned them. Trust me, there are fucking people that have these guys in their head rent free, and they think that they can become Twitter detectives to bring him down. I'm not naming names. You know who it is.
Listen, but it's a lot of real. Like, see, this is how I know that guys don't have no real world experience, because if country told, yo, listen, Joe, somebody offering you $50 million to do a podcast in a bathtub full of mayonnaise. 50 what? They want 50 what? All right, we gotta talk. Get me what I'm gonna do. Yo, listen, we gotta talk. So set it up to where I meet him. Let's see if we can't find the money. If the money is real, can you verify? Let's see if we can't. Let's work it, because it's 50 M's, bro. It's 50 M's. Right? That's common sense. That if a motherfucker told me, yo, Virtuoso told me, listen, man, they want you to do a podcast on top of the Empire State Building wearing a Spider-Man suit. What they want to pay me? 50 M. You know what?
I mean, don't worry about who it's from, though.
I'll do it naked if I have to, bro.
Shut.
I'm gonna look for the costume, and Virtuoso get them in contact with me. Call me, and we gonna at least look into it. And
exactly. No questions asked. Just go ahead with it.
Basically, what the look of it is, Al didn't bother. That's what gets me. I'm like, fam, you're not gonna try. You're not going to try to see if the 50 M's is real. See if you can't set it up to put the money in escrow to verify if the money's real. You just going to blow it off completely. That tell me that you never wanted to do the fight. It's
you want to keep Thurman.
I want to say something. Look, I don't get mad a lot for many things, but one thing that infuriates me more than anything in the fucking world is when I see someone said, Al Haymon is not a promoter, he's not a manager, he's an advisor.
Yeah.
He's an advisor.
Yeah, and my uncle is my auntie with a dick.
I mean, if you're gonna say that, you might as well stick to that role, because you shouldn't be fucking blocking fights if you're doing that.
Right. Who takes orders? Let me ask you a question. Is he there to give you advice because he's an advisor, or is he giving you orders? Because it looked like he giving you orders, bro. Your advisor is not going to say, yeah, I'm not going to let nobody get their hand. What you mean, fam? You just an advisor, or are you an advisor? You know what I mean? It's kind of obvious. But the most I'll say is look, man, at the end of the day, we've always known what it was with Al Haymon and his fighters. We've always known what it was. And what this tells me is, yo, dog, you just wasn't trying to do that fight. You offered him a dick and a booty deal. That's a terrible deal that nobody with common sense would take, because you're relying on the ignorance of the boxing fans. They don't know no better. 35% with no guarantee, that's horrible. What the fuck kind of deal is that?
He really thought Bud was dumb like his fighters and just was going to take it and believe it. Well, like you said, Jules, it's the same thing with AJ. They didn't, Fury and them and Allen, and they didn't expect those guys to say, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Basics.
Yeah.
Bro, he's done
trying to tell me that he don't know what he's doing. Bro, he's
tell me, listen, Drew tell me, listen, it's a dude in Hollywood Hills. He got $10 million for you to come do a podcast in his bathtub full of Kool-Aid. All right, call me. Let's call me and let's see. I'm gonna go look for the Kool-Aid, and let's see if he don't got the 10 M's. He don't put that in escrow for me, because it's $50 million, bro. $50 million. If this is real, you stand to make a lot of money. And what this tells me is, fam, what you really wanted was to get Crawford to walk away. That's what the whole thing was. You wanted Crawford to walk away from a deal that was it's a terrible deal.
And in spite of that, I didn't think Errol was scared though. Like he wanted that fight. It's just like, yo, you getting marching orders from Al, and he's making sure you do that via the fucking belt organization. And let me just say this, bro. For all the fans saying that, yo, he's a bad businessman. Look at him rubbing elbows with fucking Warren Buffett while lips with fucking Yellow Beezy.
Yeah, I'm
and we know what it is, Jules. We know what it is. They're keeping Errol on ice so they could cash him out to Canelo, even if they got to send him to the zone. Because
a lot of it is common sense, Drew. It could not be your intention to do a Crawford fight if you were willing to sacrifice him to Canelo. And it's a sacrifice. Spence don't win that fight. If you think Spence wins that fight, you're a fucking idiot. He doesn't stand a chance against Canelo.
Canelo will have to carry him for a few rounds, Jules.
Like, bro,
that is what we call a sacrificial lamb.
The fact that and Tom Brown, remember why Tom Brown said what he said? I don't think Tom Brown realized that he was telling on himself. At the time, he was trying to shade Canelo. That's what he was doing. He's saying that Canelo don't want to fight nobody good. So he lets the cat out the bag that they offered him a 2-3 fight deal, whatever it was, and that one of the alternates was Errol. And with that, I knew, well, y'all not serious about making no Crawford fight. How could you be? You was willing to sacrifice Errol to keep Canelo on Showtime. It's obvious. Like, fam, what you thought? Errol going to win? You think Errol win that fight? Then you just don't know shit about boxing. Like, he don't stand a chance in that fight. At 164, no, he doesn't stand a chance in that fight. If you send him out there, it's to lose. It's not complicated.
Yeah, Julius, do you remember El Chapulín Colorado?
Oh, of course, bro.
You will have to give a Canelo una pastilla de chiquitolina to Canelo and put him in the ring with Spence to have any chance.
Bro, like it's yo, close the door. That's my kid. He over there screaming. But yeah, man, like what do you think? Errol's gonna go to 164 and he's gonna put up a great fight? No, he's gonna get knocked the fuck out. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna get knocked the fuck out. All right. Will says, I hope Ring IQ rips into Spence and Al Heyman for giving Thurman a guarantee, but not Crawford. That makes my I'm telling, and Thurman is gonna get a guarantee, bro. Thurman is not fight. I don't think for a second Thurman is about to fight for a percentage. He's gonna get a guarantee, and depending on the size of the guarantee, which I said before all this news broke, I said this. Depending on the size of the guarantee, that should affect the size of the percentage. That let's say they guarantee you 6. Okay, then 35% ain't so bad. Not if you're guaranteed 6. But you're not guaranteed anything. Nothing. And you don't even get to look at the books. 35%. And yeah, he should have took that deal. Bro, I can't even begin. I really can't. I can't even begin.
Now, Jules, when do you think they're going to approach Canelo? Even though after he already stated, like, look, this is my year. How long do you think till
I don't think they're going to listen. I don't think they're going to approach him next year. There's 2 reasons why. He's kind of already let it be known what he wants. And depending on what happens with Bivol, because Bivol's going to have to fight somebody in the in-between time, between now and May at least, or at least between now and September. And if he I don't know, man, if he enters into like a multi-fight deal with Top Rank, because they might hit him with one to get better beef, they're going to want options, bro. You know that. They're not just going to do the fight. Yeah, we're going to do a one and done where you beat our guy and then you just leave and go back to the zone. Nah, they're going to want options on him. And if he takes the deal, no Canelo fight in September. And that's kind of what I see. Bob does not do that fight with him and Better Beef as a one and done. I don't see that. The only way he does it is multi-fight deal. It's the only way. Same with Devin. Same deal structure as Devin. They're like, yeah, we'll let you stand in for Loma, but you got to be with us for 3 fights.
Yeah, and then do you see Devin re-upping with Top Rank or just going on fight by fight after? No, I'm talking about after this. No.
I believe he re-ups with Top Rank because they have at least 1 belt and 1 super fight beyond lightweight. Teofimo is still there.
Yes.
Still have the
WBO.
Do you think Devin will do more like a fight by fight?
No. I don't think it'll be fight by fight because they really don't. What fighter on Top Rank does that? Like Matchroom does that.
That's only Matchroom.
Top Rank doesn't do that. And it would be smart for Devin to do that. It would be smart because his numbers have been good. The numbers for the first Kambosos fight, those were good numbers, over 1 million. The numbers for the rematch, they were surprisingly good because I didn't think it would come close to 1 million.
Yeah, almost a million.
How much did it do? That's how
900,000.
I'm gonna say it like this. That's how important this Loma fight is because if Devin wins, he has all the leverage moving up to 140 to become mandatory status at whatever belt he wants, right? Minus the IBF.
Drew, imagine Vasyl Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Saturday night, ESPN, no pay-per-view.
No pay-per-view.
What does that do, bro? What does that do?
Kill him.
It might crack 3 million.
Like that's remember that Crawford and Jose Benavidez on regular ESPN.
Imagine,
2 million, bro.
Imagine if Bob could convince them to like, look, let's do this and let's put it on ABC.
Bruh.
If he could convince the fight, because I know he can. ESPN will do it. ABC and Disney, they'll do it. It's just I don't think the fighters are willing to sacrifice that much pay for the exposure, even though that would do a hell of a number.
Where does he get them the money though to make it happen? Because remember, fucking Devin got 2.8 million to go to Australia. Where do you get him more than that in America? Where?
Exactly. And the only way to get him more is if he forces when he gets to 140 and forces a purse bid and Eddie comes saves him.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he wants.
There's nowhere else.
Who's banging shit in the background?
Hey, me.
That's you.
It ain't me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that he's in a good place right now because if you were to go to Eddie, what are your options? Brock Jarvis, Liam Bottle, Montana Love. Who's the other kid that he just signed, man? The other kid. He just signed a 140-pounder.
I forget his name. I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, like Eddie doesn't. It wouldn't be wise to go back to the zone right now.
No, not right now. But what do you think? Devin's guarantee is going to go up if he beats Loma, right?
Yeah,
he's going to want more. He'll want more.
I think it will. But Bob also has the Crawford fight to learn from. Don't just put it in the fucking contract that he got to get 3, bro. Don't just do that shit. You better leave yourself some wiggle room in there because you see what happened.
Because I could see if Devin beats Loma, I could see him not wanting to get in the ring for nothing less than 4.
But do you think he beats Loma?
It depends. I don't. I
think
be a bitch.
I ain't no bitches out here, bro.
It's 50-50. I'm just worried about the weight cut for him.
Jimmy,
because he looked like shit on Cambasta's weight cut.
I'm telling you, man. I think Loma's gonna pull it off.
Man, Loma has to be on a regular schedule. He's got to get back in there because if there's any ring rust again like he had, he didn't beat him.
Bro, he's good. I'm telling you that as far as Loma, he's as good as he's gonna be because that was a hard fight. That literally, that's what he needed. The same as Tyson
Fury, Jules.
Otto Deline, right before the Wilder fight. That's exactly like you need that wake up call, bro. That you got to earn these rounds, bro. They ain't just gonna give them to you. You got to earn them, right?
When you think about it, that was the perfect fight for him, to take.
Yeah. And I don't. I'm not shitting
tell me
on
right now, Jules. What guy at 135 could dominate Jermaine Ortiz?
I don't know.
Just based on bro.
Listen, there's nobody. Listen, all right, and motherfuckers gonna think I'm overrating them. I'm just looking at the styles and what they do. He beats George Kambosos. Yeah, he beats Isaac Cruz. Isaac is a fucking midget, bro. He's a midget. He doesn't beat anyone, bro. The fuck are we talking about?
I'm not overrating Jermaine Ortiz. All I'm saying is based on his physical dimensions, his skill set. He's the biggest guy at 135. He's not the best, but he's a 14-hour shift with no breaks.
I'm just like, so let another motherfucker tell it. Just tell me who beat, and don't give me no fucking Gervonta Davis, bro. Don't do that to me. Who's gonna beat him, Rolly? Who's gonna beat him, bro? The only dude I see that could beat him, and he would have to outbox him, because I don't see it as being an easy fight, is Shakur. It's the only one. He has the quote unquote it. He has that shit. And I can see Shakur dealing with him. But I feel like, Isaac, that little bullshit you do, that shit wouldn't work, bro. That whole shit where I'm going to just come forward and throw a bunch of, that shit ain't going to work. This kid has feet. He's not just bigger than you. He has feet, which I think is more important, that he was turning with Loma while he was still fresh. He was literally turning with him and staying on him. Not a lot of guys could do that shit. So that's Isaac, it's like, what's Isaac's elite shit? That Loma broke his hand. I mean, that Gervonta broke his hand on your forehead or something. I think that's his elite shit.
Turning down $1 million paydays from Ryan Garcia.
Ducking Ryan, bro. Elite shit.
And you know Oscar and DAZN would have paid him.
That's what kills me. That these are common sense arguments. Ryan is a bigger name than you are. DAZN can afford to pay you a career high purse. And what do? You go back to Sean. So no, it got to be on show. What you mean it got to be on Showtime, fam? What are you talking about?
Cucklehead Sean. When you saying Showtime, when you know that fucking David doesn't want to fight you again, bro, and they ain't no money for, they ain't that many fucking lightweights over there. So what the fuck?
And you know what, the other ain't no belts over there. Like, there are literally no belts over there for you to fight. So I'm curious, what the fuck are they gonna do with Isaac, bro? Does he fight the winner of Rivera versus Martin?
Just become another Tank Davis.
Bro. Do you think maybe they just leave him in the pocket for Tank?
They're saving. They're gonna get Ryo. They're gonna get Ryo a win and match them to each other.
Bro, is Ryan gonna beat this dude, bro? Come on, man, don't bullshit me. You know what you think.
Ryan gonna beat who? A Tank?
You know what the fuck we talking about, Drew?
I got Mexicans for Tank.
Bro, oh my God, why you doing this, bro?
I gotta see. I'll be honest. If Ryan's tune-up, if he still hasn't fucking at least improved his defense by a fucking 10%, where his head's not out,
he looked good with Fortuna, bro. He looked good.
He looked. His head's still, his fucking chin's still up there, ready to get fucking parked.
Yeah, but Tank is a midget, bro.
But I don't think Tank is not active enough to he's a counterpuncher.
Bro, so that jab that I see from Ryan, because look, he's tall for lightweight. This is the main thing. He's tall for lightweight, he's long for lightweight, and he's fast. He's fast, bro. So if he stay on, like, forget trying to catch Tank with a left hook. Forget trying to catch him with an uppercut. Forget the straight right hand. If you just jab this little garden gnome's head off, he can't do nothing about it.
And that's the thing where I hope Joe goes. It's literally a 50-50 fight, but and I just know if he could tee off on him the way Leo did, but instead of throwing the fourth punch, just throw 2-3 max, get out so you wear him out. Yeah.
How do we think Tank's gonna look against another southpaw for the first time?
Well, when you think about it, Rolly's jab gave Tank a tremendous amount of problems, and I think Ryan has a much better jab than Rolly.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Rolly Romero was ahead on cards, bro. He was ahead before he got knocked out.
If he wasn't, he should have been. If he wasn't, he should have been.
That should tell
all
you
that
a lot.
stick dodging was paying off until he got caught.
in all serious, but in all seriousness, okay, if I'm gonna be honest, the more I think about the fight, just how it's gonna look, if Ryan can fight Davis the way that he fought Fortuna, he can definitely beat him. He can definitely beat him.
It's just I need one thing from Amir Chicano is to tuck that chin.
Yeah, but I get that there's a flaw, but Gervonta is not a prolific puncher. Like this dude don't really throw a lot. He wait for you to do some dumb shit, and then he counters that dumb shit.
That's where his power comes from. It's not concussive. It's not like when Triple G hits you and you see it coming, it still fucking hurts.
It's not like Better Beef that he just hit hard because he's just a big dumb motherfucker that hit hard. It's not like that. It's that he hits you with some shit that you don't see, so it'll take you out. But if he stay on his jab and move his feet, it's not just the jab. Move your feet. Manage that distance. If you keep that jab in front of this little butterball, alternate the rhythm, he can't do nothing.
You just said it, Jules. Look, he doesn't hit hard enough for stopping all the guys to keep coming forward.
Bro, fucking Gamboa, it took him 12 for Gamboa.
Yeah, but does Ryan have good feet?
Tall motherfuckers never do. Yeah. Tall motherfuckers never do. They don't.
That's why I need Amir Chicano to fucking tuck his chin.
No, they don't. They don't have good feet. Paul Williams didn't have
whenever
good
feet. Whenever the height differential is dramatic, right? Like it's not saying Ryan has bad feet. If he was in there with another tall guy, they're eye level, then there's no balance issues. But when you're fighting someone that's so stumpy, like a little fucking garden gnome, there's gonna be balance issues because you have to punch down to hit him. He's fucking tiny. Gervonta Davis is the average height of a fourth grader. I'm just saying, like, a dude, like you. Ryan has to punch down to hit him. That creates balance issues, and you got to and the chin thing, which is it's like like if you give up a little bit of height, that chin is a little closer to his little fists. So you got to be careful, yo. You do, and I don't know, man. Like it's like people bring up the Luke Campbell fight. That's the only fight where he got knocked down. But Luke Campbell is also not little, and that's what I think. That's what I think people overlook. That Luke doesn't need to be in. Luke didn't need to be inside the pocket to hit Ryan with punches because he was actually tall for lightweight, about 5'9", 5'10". He was tall for lightweight. Whereas Gervonta, like, he's little, bro. Like, nah, unless Ryan tries to invade the pocket, like, okay, now you're close enough to him that you have to bend your arm to throw punches. Okay, you don't need to be that close to this midget. Like, no, you don't. You tall, right? And you fast, right? Use that.
Plus, I think Tank's skills are a little overrated. I mean, if you watch his last couple of fights against Isaac Cruz, Barrios, and Rolly, I mean, he's looked quite limited in most of those fights. I think Ryan's definitely got all the tools physically. You know, height, punching power, speed. He's a much better technical fighter than Rolly, who's pushing Tank back, outboxing him. I think Ryan just needs to fight smart. And I think he I mean, there's a reason why he's been so desperate for the fight.
Bro, Rolly was winning on one of the judges' scorecards.
Bro,
what does that say about Tank?
Exactly. And motherfuckers don't like, bro, ain't no reason you should lose a round to Rolly Romero.
Rolly, bro.
Well, nah, round to Rolo? Chill, son. What you doing? What are you doing?
He's fucking ass.
He is ass, bro. Like, he is awful, bro. Motherfucking One Punch says Saudi said Eddie. We got 75 M's for AJ and 75 for Usyk. Eddie says, that's what he said. Let's get this money, yo. Deed says Spence fans have that big fish breath. They got that big booty hole breath. That booty hole. Motherfucker.
Hey, Jules, let me ask you this. How do you like now the Sandor Martin for Tio? Is that a tougher fight now?
I mean, the thing is that he needs that fight, though, bro. Like in all seriousness, if your goal is to fight the winner of Taylor versus Catterall, you actually need that fight, bro. You do. Because the winner of that fight, irrespective of who it is a southpaw, a crafty one. And this is not Lomachenko. This is not some little featherweight that he got low-ass shoulders and shit. You at 40 now, bro. This is the show. It's dangerous up there, bro. If you can't beat Martin, you can't beat them.
And he would have to obviously he would have to fly to Scotland for Josh Taylor, right?
No, for both of them. Both of them.
Both of them.
They both used to be MTK. And it's not just one of them. It's both of them. They can't come to America.
Bro, to be fair, I'm even though I got Devin Haney beat Lomachenko, as he goes to 140, I'm gonna be very scared for him.
They go
very
call
scared.
Bro,
Call
none
me,
of those
look, man.
lightweights make it past 140.
Karma, we still tight, man. Look, I gotta turn the camera on, right? Gotta turn the camera.
Jesus is watching.
Here we go.
Let's calm. We still tight, man. We still tight. We cool, man. But Spence gotta stop ducking Crawford, man. Gotta stop. Gotta stop. It's not right.
Come on, let me just tell you this, bro. You, from your picture, you're one beautiful woman. Unfortunately, Spence is not into you.
I'm not even going
You're
to
not
talk
into
about
women.
that. No, because Karma's too busy distracting AJ. Did you see that unboxing scene where AJ's like, too many things are pulling me away from boxing, distracting? It's Karma.
He was
talking about Karma.
I had sources.
She needs to let him live for like another year. Just get back to boxing. I know.
Bro, this is why Tyson Fury is jealous of AJ, bro. AJ was in Italy the other day doing a Hugo Boss model shoot. And Tyson Fury just like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, this is why Fury hates AJ. Because all the stuff Fury is doing now, selling out stadiums, fighting on pay-per-view, doing good numbers. AJ's been doing that shit for the last 7 years.
Basically,
basically today. Jules, he had to bring him up again today. He had to bring him up today again.
Tyson Fury debuted, I think it was in 2008. AJ debuted, I think it was in 2013.
2013.
This is selling out a stadium, bro. That's regular AJ shit, bro. That's get out of bed and make some toast shit, bro. That's regular. You just now doing that? And look, you fight fucking Derek Chisora, bro. That's sad, bro. That's sad. On some real shit. Motherfuckers didn't want to admit me and Sawab was saying it. Sawab know. I'm sure Jimmy know. Dillian helped sell the fight, bro. He did. It wasn't Fury on his own. Dillian been on pay-per-view like 5 times over there, bro. He do have a little bit of fame over there. But now that you fighting Chisora again, it's not the same energy, is it?
You know,
bro, that's
this is why I was so pissed off. This is why I was so pissed off about Talk Sport. You know, this clowns, they're saying it's a Tyson Fury party and they're getting invited. Motherfucker. AJ has been having bigger parties. Name me one boxer within 4 years of their pro career selling out stadiums. Name me one, please.
So look, man, this is what I gotta do. I gotta go to the UK. I gotta fly over there. I gotta go to Watford. Hope I bump into AJ in the street. I gotta talk to him like, listen, man, you gotta talk more shit, bro. You're getting too much money out here. You getting money out here, B. These motherfuckers need you, dog. You need to talk shit, bro. I'm gonna show him some old James Toney tapes. Show him some old Mike Tyson tape. You gotta talk shit, bro. All right, you the motherfucking man. You need to act like it. You the motherfucking man.
I will sponsor your tickets to fly here, but you're not gonna do it, bro. I will sponsor your tickets to fly over here. I'll put you in the shard.
Bro, the reason why they moved the Chisora fight to London outside of Cardiff was because they're hoping that Chisora will try and bring in that London crowd. Because Chisora's always been a big ticket seller in London whenever he fights.
Exactly. And I said, and look, this is the main. I fuck with Derek, by the way. I love Derek, by the way. But I'm saying that for a 2-time heavyweight champion like Tyson Fury, you really shouldn't have to resort to this. And I made this point earlier this year that, like, I was talking to the War Week radio guy who's a huge Tyson Fury fan. I'm like, bro, you acting like he sold out that stadium by himself. A good number of those fans is Dillian White fans that they just want to see the fight. Or a lot of them are just boxing fans that they just want to see the fight because, yeah, it's a good fight. Dillian White finally getting a title shot. But Tyson Fury by himself, he don't sell that. No, he don't sell that. Not by himself. Not everybody like him over there. It was the same way in 2015. They're like, yeah, you beat Vlad, but not everybody like you, bro. A lot of motherfuckers don't like you.
Julius, he said it out his own fucking mouth, bro, in an interview. How many times? He goes, I could have fought any foreigner, but that wasn't going to sell me tickets. No one was going to come watch that. No one's going to buy the pay-per-view. He said it out his own mouth.
He knows,
So what
like
do these people know?
Well, when he spoke to True Jordy, he said it himself that he can't just fight some nobody. It has to, with Derek, people know Derek, they get behind. And I'm like, yeah, of course, that's what I've been saying. The reason you fighting Derek is because you need his help. He can help sell some tickets because he got loyal fans. They know if nothing else, Derek gonna fight. If he gotta go, so be it. If he gotta go on the shield, but he gonna fight. Whereas if you could fight Michael Hunter, for example, which I think would have been a better fight, but it don't sell, bro. It don't, because you don't have the drawing power to sell it. And Michael, who the fuck know Michael in the UK? Well, fucking nobody know him. Fuck know him.
Same with Joshua fought. When Joshua fought Carlos Takam in his title defense, sold out the Cardiff Stadium, 80,000, no problems. If Fury had that kind of star power, bro, he could have fought anyone in that same stadium and sold it out. But they had to quickly run to London, hoping that Chisora's fans would help them.
Okay,
That's what I've been saying.
I have a question, Julius, about that interview. I saw a point that made Bits and Rhymes that for me makes a lot of sense, because True Gordy was initially, it was not, I'm not gonna say kissing his ass, but it was praising Tyson Fury.
He was kissing his ass.
Yeah, he was kissing his ass.
I've been watching True Jordy for years. He's a big supporter of Tyson Fury.
Yeah, and after that, it was yeah, it wasn't like targeting journalism, but it was putting him on the spot, him being Tyson Fury, in a not flattering way. And Beats said, okay, you can't have one with the other at the same time. You cannot kiss his ass and then put him on the spot like that. Because, for example, I have seen some of your interviews, Julius. You, even with people you don't really agree how their business decisions, their career decisions, you are never been that harsh with them. Like True Gordy was really being sometimes I felt like he was really being a dick. Do you think there is something more than the fact that Tyson Fury is a hypocrite and a liar, that it was truly a reason to be that mad with True Gordy?
Leo, can I answer that question?
Let me go ahead. No. I gotta answer. Do I think True Jordy was harder on Fury than people normally are? Yes. But harder is relative. In other words, Fury is used to softball questions. Some of the questions that he asked him, right? If you really go back and you listen, they were regular questions that you have to use 258 management. You have to talk to them to do a fight with AJ, but you also have to talk to them to do a fight with Derek. Now, you went to Derek 2 times. Before you went to AJ, you went to Derek. And Derek said, no, fuck out of here. $2 million. Fuck out of here. Then you went to AJ. And when shit didn't work out with AJ, you went to Derek. But either way, you were dealing with the same people. So if you really wanted the AJ fight, why the fuck didn't you just give him more time? It's worth more money. Exponentially more money. It's obvious.
Can I just add to that? So basically, before this interview, True Jordy had a podcast with Tyson Fury, and he went into his house. And they were all bum-licking. I saw the thing. He was bum-licking each other, talking about mental health and whatnot, calling him the greatest. So after this interview, I think Tyson Fury was shocked in a sense, because he wasn't expecting it from True Jordy, like asking him these tough questions. Maybe that's what kind of pissed him off.
I'll say, look. When I talked to I'm gonna say this. I talked to Tasha Jonas recently, right? And she said that there were things that Steffi Bull said that aggravated her, right? You'll notice that I didn't pry. I didn't ask what did he say specifically, right? I could already sense that I might hit a nerve if I keep going, and I don't want to do that. All I'm saying about True Jordy's line of questioning is that those were common sense questions. Some of them, like what he said about the Derek Chisora fight, okay, there's no way you frame that to be a good thing to say that he said people don't want to see that. You don't tell a fighter that. Like you don't. But what he asked about the deadlines, that was a legitimate question. Like that wasn't being this and that. That was a legitimate question. Like, fam, you gotta go to 258 management either way to deal with the both of them. So for dealing with the same management firm, why did you put deadlines on the AJ fight? You didn't do that to Derek. Why did you do that to AJ?
I mean, he was just asking real questions, to be honest.
If I'm like, that's what stood out to me. That like, I get where Leo's coming from. That you don't tell a fighter, nobody want to see this shit. Like, fam, you don't. Nah, you don't do that. You don't do. Nobody want to see this shit. This ain't the 90s, bro. You can't do that, right? I dig it, but you can ask. You can ask. Well, you're dealing with 258 management to do the Derek Chisora fight, but you were also dealing with them to do the AJ fight. It's the same management firm. So why not give AJ more time? Why not? It's a real question. It's not hostile. You're not blindsiding him. That's a real question. Like, it's the same people, bro. Same people.
Yeah, my point is, Jordi was being disrespectful, and I think he made Tyson Fury at the beginning of the interview, because that phrasing that Jordan made in that interview is something that you will say to a fan. That's something that pop up in the chat to talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are said many times. Sometimes you make interviews. Yeah. But you are not
not an interviewer.
No, you are not interviewer. You are not. No eres un reportero.
Exactamente.
You are not insider. You're a fan.
Exactamente.
Or neither is True Jordi. True Jordi is not a journalist. He just talks on boxing, gives his opinions.
But I can't say that I look at that line of questioning and see ambush journalism. I don't see that, though. I don't see that. Most of what he asked were legitimate questions. The one thing that he said that I felt, well, you shouldn't say that to someone who's in camp preparing for a fight. You don't tell them no one wants to see. You don't tell them that. But what you can ask, well, what happened with AJ? We were all very excited, and you're dealing with the same management company, so why not afford AJ more time? You gave him 2 separate deadlines. What was the motivation for that?
You know what, Jules? I think you're right. I think he could have framed the other question. That he shouldn't have said no one wants to watch that fight. He could have said there's a bit of criticism towards this fight happening. What's your opinion on it? And what do you think about what people say? That the way you put the question across, I agree with that.
The way you frame the question, you can address something that's real with a question that, yes, Fury is being criticized for this fight. So you can frame the question based on that criticism to where it's not offensive. You're literally talking about something that's real that needs to be addressed. That's the one thing Jordy did that I'm like, nah, you don't ask that shit like that. But everything else was legit, bro. Like it was like, yeah, you did give AJ 2 deadlines that you didn't give Chisora. You didn't.
Bro. You didn't. And another thing, these other IFL Umar and flipping Garrison Davis, they complain, oh, why is he asking him about KSI and Logan Paul and Jake Paul? I'm like, bro, he's fucking he offered Logan Paul. He called out Logan Paul for a fight. He goes, I think Tommy Fury versus Jake, and I'll fight Logan Paul. He said that himself. He's involved in it. That's what he asked him. Bro, how many times have you asked people about those fights?
His daddy is all involved in that Jake Paul shit. So exactly. I don't feel that was like, yeah, you shouldn't ask him. Like, no, your brother's involved. Your daddy don't shut the fuck. Your daddy was about to punch the TV on BT Sport because of Jake Paul. What y'all talking about? Like, he's involved. Like, yeah, I can ask him about that. Why not?
I was actually hoping that Jordy would actually grow him even more, though, on the bullshit when he was saying Usyk isn't from my generation. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You guys turned pro at similar times, and you've both also won world titles at a similar time as well. I think he might even be older than you. So when Tyson Fury is telling fans that Usyk isn't a part. Like, I don't have to fight Usyk. He doesn't have to be a part of my legacy because he's not from the same era as me. Like, that's too contradictory.
Can I say this, Jimmy? I honestly believe this. Y'all could call me crazy. I'm the only one that said that AJ is not from Fury's generation. Wilder is not from AJ's. I've been saying this for a while, that Wilder is not from the AJ era. Wilder is from the Klitschko era, but he spent so much time fighting nobodies that people didn't notice him till 2015. In reality, he's been around since 2008. So has Tyson Fury. And when he said that, I'm like, yo, did this motherfucker see an episode of the ring? Because I'm the only one I know that says, like, yo, Fury's not from the AJ era. AJ debuted in 2013. Fury debuted in 2008. So did Wilder. Y'all both from the Vladimir Klitschko era. That's where y'all from. AJ don't come into it until... Remember, Vladimir lost the belts in 2015. 2 years into AJ's pro career. They are not from the same era. But Fury is.
Do you realize?
Even though Fury claims that Usyk is not from his era, right? Technically, he is your contemporary because he's about 2 years older than Fury.
So we choice.
It's just that Usyk has a deeper amateur background than him, and he managed to debut at the same time as AJ.
He's not wrong in the sense. See, he's not wrong in terms of eras. Usyk is not from the Klitschko era. Fury is a relic of the Klitschko era. So is Wilder. Usyk is a part of the AJ era. It's all about when they debuted and what cycle of fighters came through with them. Like the cycle of fighters that came through with AJ are Dillian White, are Arslanbek Makhmudov, Jalalo. These are AJ era fighters. Whereas guys like Povetkin, that's Klitschko era. Guys like Pulev, that's Klitschko era. Guys like Takam, that's Klitschko era. Them guys was fighting in the Klitschko era. They debuted ages ago. Whereas the new guys, if you debuted at or around 2013, okay, that's AJ era. So while he's not wrong that, Usyk isn't from his era, he's not. When have you ever heard a fighter say that? He's not from my era, so I don't have to fight him. It's not from my era.
Yeah, he's the greatest of all time. You make a good point, though. With AJ, he's been fast-tracked so quickly that he caught up to guys like Fury and Wilder in such short time that we forgot that, this guy's had less than 30 fights, that he started way after them, that he's still younger than them as well.
Exactly. Imagine if Pacquiao said, well, I'm not going to fight Thurman because he's not from my era.
Do you realize? Talking of Deontay Wilder, do you realize how many times he fucked up the Undisputed for everyone? Bro, he was called a baby champion when he won the WBC belt.
Bro, I gotta go back. I never heard a fighter. I have never heard a fighter say that before.
What's a baby champion? I need a definition.
And not fuck the baby champ. I never heard a fighter who's an unbeaten 2-time heavyweight champion. He's not from my era. So I don't have to fight. I never heard that shit before, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, what? What you mean, bro? He got a belt, fam. What are you talking about? Like, not from my era. What? He has a belt. You're here right now, right? Yeah. And he's here right now. What the fuck? Fury, yo, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. Fury put a spell on motherfuckers, man, because I'm like, how are you a fan of him? Did you hear that dumb shit?
But he actually went wrong. Do you when he called out Joshua on Instagram, Talksport, if you look at the fans, Geordie, he actually worked in reverse. Was he trying to make a fool out of Joshua and Hearn? But he actually worked in opposite. The fans are like on Fury, like, bro, you're doing bullshit now. Why are you calling him out, setting deadlines? I think Fury actually fucked up on this one.
You know why Fury has a lot of fans? Because his bullshit is highly entertaining to a large amount of people.
Large amount of retards.
I don't even know. No. It's entertaining. I'm not going to deny him that. It's entertaining, but not to a large amount of people, because if it were, this Derek Chisora fight wouldn't be struggling. The price point for the pay-per-view, came out today, and people are fucking furious, man. They're angry, and it's like, we supposed to believe that you was gonna fight AJ for free, but you gonna charge us 26 pounds for a Chisora fight. Nah.
And Jules, did you notice that he was actually copying Joshua? Because when Joshua fought Usyk, Sky put up the price for his fight to $26.95. He's doing the exact same thing, bro. When Joshua fought Ruiz, they increased the price as well to 25. And then he did the same thing when he fought Wilder. Joshua fought at Tottenham Stadium. Now he's fighting there. Literally, this dude's like copying everything Joshua does, bro. It's crazy.
I said it. He got a single white female type thing going on with this AJ guy. Like, he really do, though. Like, not even, no cap, no jokes. That's facts. Like, keep asking about his cock and how long his cock is. Remember? Big cock. I wish I had a big cock.
It's just weird to me, like, how this dude just talks about him. Like the dude is just obsessed with him. He's always trying to compare himself to him.
Bro, he wants to fuck him, man. He wants to fuck him.
I said it. Listen, I said it in my video. Derek Chisora said it. I've been. He wants to fuck him, bro. He wants to fuck him.
Bro, how do you know Joshua's in Italy right now doing a modeling shoot? How the fuck do you know that, bro?
Like, if I'm AJ, I wouldn't park my car next to Tyson. Like, bro, why you always talking about my meat, bro? Like, can we fight or something? Like,
if I'm AJ, I would not even bend over.
He wants a bromance with Joshua, man.
He's more like a yellow beezy type.
How come when he hopped out of his car, out of his Range Rover, he saw the friend, gave you the hug or kiss?
He wants a brother.
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
You want the yellow beezy treatment, man.
Now, Jack says, what do you think about B-Ball? What do you think about B-Ball saying Canelo hits harder than Zerto? I saw that. It's not surprising. I'll say that. Power is funny. Power, you born with that, bro. Like, really though, like, yeah, you born with that. Like, power, you can sharpen it, you can hone it, you can perfect it, but you're born with power. And I've been like, Zerto's not a big puncher. Zerto's a combination puncher, so he wears you out with volume. Whereas big punchers, they can hit you once and you can feel it. Like Better Beef, he can hit you with a fucking jab, bro, and you'll feel that shit. It's different. So that Canelo's a bigger puncher than Zerto, that really doesn't surprise me. That B-Vol said that doesn't surprise me. You're born with power. You know, you learn skills, you acquire skills, but some things you're born with, like power and speed and reflexes, that's a physical attribute. So that Canelo has power, yeah, that don't surprise me. That don't surprise me.
It does to me a little bit, because Zerto looks about 3 times the size of Canelo. This guy comes in the ring 205 pounds. So for Canelo, ex-middleweight, to kind of have more power than him, I found that a little surprising, to be honest.
I'll say this. If you watch Zerto's super middleweight campaign, you would see it then that, like, this guy, like, he's a good fighter. I don't want to knock it. He is a good fighter, but he's not a big puncher. He's not a big puncher. He never was. He's a volume puncher, and that's what he'll wear you out with. But he's not a big puncher because he hits guys a lot before they start to wilt. He has to hit a guy a lot. And it's like, man, you hitting this guy with all type of shit, and he don't really wilt like the Unieski Gonzalez fight. Like, bro, like, he hit that motherfucker with a lot of shit before he got him out of there. It's like, nah, you're not a big puncher. Because if Artur hit that guy once clean, he goes out, bro. You get him out of there quick, B. Artur is a bad dude, man. Too bad he's so fucking old, man.
Yeah, he's pushing 40, bro.
That dude is old as shit, bro. Anyway, on that note, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Real quick, Juice.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, bro. Thanks for having me on.
I got one question for you. Because it seems like with a lot of fighters, we tend to think, oh, this guy's really good, and then they end up not being good sometimes. That happens, right? Like with Aleem Kanuli, for example.
Mm-hmm.
How many fights would you say is a good barometer, as they got enough experience to be considered, good, because instead of being considered good too early?
I would say mine. Thank you. My number is 20.
I thought that myself. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's what I was thinking earlier today to myself, but I didn't want to say it. I wanted to ask you guys to see what you guys thought.
I would say 20 is about the right place you got to be at to make a decision, because usually you're no longer, fighting. You're supposed to not be fighting cab drivers, but generally you're starting to fight talent that's kind of equal to you. right before generalization, you'd be fighting like a championship level caliber. So 20 is a really good number in my opinion.
Yeah, like 20 is the barometer for me because a lot of people will use like a Lomachenko, for example, and he's not an example of normalcy. Neither is AJ. AJ was fighting for a title. AJ was fighting for a title after just 15 fights, so that's not normalcy. Normalcy is, at around 17, 18 to 20. That's when you really see things start to pick up usually. So my number has always been 20. That if in 20 fights you need to have fought someone. You ain't got to fight the most monstrous motherfucker ever. But after 20 fights, you should have fought someone. One guy.
Come on, let's look at Wilder, bro. Wilder had how many fights and bro, and look at fucking
32
Zerdo.
30.
Look at Zerdo. Look at Zerdo, bro. Who has he fought? Look at Munguia, bro. Look, they're almost a 40.
Wait a minute, Munguia's a weirdo. Wait, Munguia's a weirdo. Listen. Munguia's a weirdo. I'm not disagreeing with you that his resume sucks mostly, but he did fight a really good Liam Smith. He did. And Liam Smith, that's a credible scalp to me. Liam Smith is a credible scalp.
But you're making an argument. Exactly that example is the argument of why boxing is dying as a national sport, because they're not putting guys together to fight each other that actually have any merit that will excite fans.
I'll tell you this much. There was a video I did 2017, 2018. The best fight that you could have made at 154, Jarrett Hurd, Jaime Munguia, pressure fighter versus bro, that would have been World War III, and it wasn't even a conversation because of the politics, like what I say about Isaac Cruz and William Zepeda. If you made that fight, people would die watching it. That's how good it would be.
Dude, this one I want to see fights like, say, I think Joshua White. I want to see fight like Danny Dubois and Joe Joyce. I think I want to see Ryan Garcia and things like these good fights, 50-50 fights. I don't want to fucking see Munguia versus Kelly or flipping Zerdo versus David, the other clowns, bro. I don't want to see that bullshit. I don't want to see that. I want to know that there is a chance of you losing. That's the type of fight, and that's what was more intriguing. That's what we want to see as boxing fans.
And I'm telling you, if you if you took all the politics away on the West Coast, William Zepeda versus Isaac Cruz, bro, that's World War III.
I was saying this last time, bro.
That fight shit, motherfuckers die watching that shit, bro. Like, motherfuckers will die watching that shit. They like, bro, for real, be like, that shit would be crazy. But because of the politics, you don't even see people talking about it. They're like, damn, I would really like to see Zepeda versus Cruz. Like, forget about the Stevenson, the title picture, just a fight where it's like, god damn, Zepeda versus Cruz, bro. What a fight. But it's not even a conversation.
There's so many killer fights, bro. Joe Joyce versus Dillian White, Joe Joyce versus AJ.
Bro, Joe Joyce versus Makhmudov.
Exactly, bro. Jalulov, bro. I want to see those fights,
title
bro.
fights, man. It's in between, man. It's a intriguing matches, man.
No, fuck the title fights, bro. If we get the title fights regardless, like you said, the in-between fights to lead to those, bro. We need them. That's what's going to bring boxing back.
The way things are now, there's a lot of risk management, which literally kills, for the fighters, of course, it makes sense, risk management, mitigating the risks. But for the consumer, it makes no sense because I'm not here to see you play it safe until the right opportunity rolls around. I am here to see you take risks. That's literally why I'm watching.
Yeah, that's the whole ideology of this is the risk. That's why we want to see the fights. We want to see.
This is why I'm so shocked. Which 20 or 50K fucking people paid for the PBC bullshit pay-per-views, bro?
I look at a fighter like Isaac Cruz, right? And I see an everyman fighter that if they put you in the right fights, you could have a huge following. But the truth, you're not going to get there because they're protecting you. They protected you from Ryan. They protected you from Michelle Rivera. They're protecting you now from Stevenson. So you not like they're the ones that are placing the emphasis on not losing. When, listen, you can lose and still have a bunch of fans. Derek has a bunch of fans, and he lost 11 fights, but he has a fuck ton of fans because they know if you put him in the ring, he gonna fight. He might go out on the shield, but he gonna fight. That's the same reason a lot of people like Dillian. Dillian got knocked out by AJ years ago, bro, but he went on to have a lot of fans. Like, yeah, he had fans, bro, because he willing to go out there and get it on. And that's why people watch, to see you get it on. Yeah, there's risks, but that's why we watch. So if you want our money, there have to be risks.
Maybe this is why I might just buy the Tyson Fury and I think Chisora fight. I might just pay for it, bro. Bro,
You know,
I'm gonna buy it
man.
for Chisora.
Bro, that's why
I
I'm
love
buying.
watching
Listen,
Chisora.
that's why I'm buying this weekend. Let me just give y'all a breakdown. For example, motherfucking the co-main is 2 girls. Not everybody like watching 2 girls fight. I understand that, right? But the co-main is 2 girls. You got a minimum weight moving up to light flyweight for a girl that could probably punch through her face. Probably. You know what I mean? She's not the greatest boxer, but she's stronger than a bitch. Right, and that's the co-main. Somebody gonna get the shit beat out of them, and that's all I know. It ain't even about who win. It's that it's an action fight. And then I look at the main. Zapata is a big puncher. Prograis is a big puncher. He's a big puncher, man. They both hit hard, knock you the fuck out. All right, that's good enough, bro. It's the risks. Like, yo, fucking Prograis might knock this motherfucker out.
Do you know who's on the undercard of I think Tyson Fury and Chisora?
Bro, I have no idea, bro.
Bro, what the fuck? The fight is like 3 weeks ago and no announcement yet.
Do you remember
on some real shit? I literally don't know who's on that undercard.
Do you remember the white undercard, bro? That was horrible.
Oh my god!
Nick Paul versus Isaac Lowe. I did enjoy that.
What about the fat guy, the big fat guy with the breasts who was fighting? Was out there like 2 rounds?
Word.
That guy was with the money.
Word. No, but that has to be one of the worst for a fight of that scale. Remember the scale, bro. Weren't they at Wembley?
Yes, Wembley Stadium.
Bro, it's mad people there, and this is the undercard. Wow, bro.
It did not
Yo,
sell
real
out.
quick, who you guys got in the World Cup?
Bro, I don't know, bro.
Too early to say.
I got Morocco.
Saudi Arabia just beat Argentina.
Yeah.
Hey, how did the US
The fuck?
That's a massive upset. No, we tied. USA Wales tied.
I got a feeling Morocco's gonna upset Croatia.
Can you just talk about this hypocrisy that's going on with Qatar and people being upset that the World Cup is in Qatar, bro? Do you know, especially in the UK? Yeah, let me tell you this. Do you know how much Qatar invests in the UK, bro? They own the Heathrow Airport, the biggest airport in the UK.
Listen, I'm gonna put this. I want to put this as simply as possible. There are very few countries out there who can wag their finger in anyone's face about human rights issues. Most of them are like, honestly, America's killed how many fucking people, right? You don't get to do that. You don't get to wag your finger. Well, you shouldn't do, bro. You doing shit to people here right now. Fuck is you talking about? And the same goes for the UK. The same goes for a lot of fucking countries, bro. So the fact that the only thing I don't like about them being in Qatar is there's no beer. Like, that's
bro. It's only in I think in the stadium. That's all it is. It's only in the
Where else are you
stadium.
gonna have the beer at? You gotta have the beer in the stadium. I mean.
Only in the hotels.
Listen, you can violate all the human rights in the world. Can we have some beer? Can we do that?
There's in the hotel. You can drink in the hotel.
Water shit. Like, ban that, please.
Yeah, like I'm not mad. Like, man, you know how many human rights issues get violated every day in first world countries? I'm not worried about that shit. But can we get the beer?
He's calling there.
It's only 3 hours. It's only 3 hours, bro. It's only just in the stadium. Don't have it. Either in the hotel.
Where else do you want to drink the beer at? You want to drink the beer when you watch the game. You say it's only the stadium. It's the most important place to drink the beer.
Yes. Who the fuck want to be drinking beer in a hotel room?
I'm sorry, bro. I apologize on their behalf.
That's the only, like, honest to God, out of all the headlines and just all the moaning and bitching, that's the only thing that I was like, nah, they need to let people drink beer.
Jules loves his beer, doesn't he?
Jules, you're literally like, don't allow women to drive, but we gotta have beer.
We have to have beer, right?
Come on, all the women, give me beer.
You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker might be chopping the motherfucker head off. Look, that's cool, bro. I don't know what he did. Maybe he deserved it. But can we get the beer? This is all I'm saying.
There's
Corona.
They were saying like 6,000 people died for like they brought immigrants in to build the stadium, but they're outraged by beer. You got people dying to build a stadium, but you can't drink beer inside the stadium.
Pour a little bit of liquor for the homies.
Exactly. You need all that beer
The
to pour
sad
it out.
part about it is that they're not even going to use those fucking facilities, those stadiums that they built. That's basically just a fucking slave labor burial ground.
Listen, man, that was the only hang up that I've had in all of this. That, you know, it's a celebration. It is a festive environment. There should be alcohol, but you know. Anyway, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I will see y'all Saturday night.
Jules, enjoy your beer.
Oh yeah.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. If I don't hear from y'all, y'all will see me on Saturday. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys. Hey, have a good night, Jules. Thanks for having me on, brother.